Franklin County Board of County Commissioners now in session for this regular meeting Wednesday, April 15th. We're going to go ahead and start with the agenda this morning. Good to see you all here today. Let's handle the county's business. Commissioner Crew, can you lead some prayer, please?
Yes, sir. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for life. We thank you for putting the position to help serve and lead our great county that we live in. Lord, we ask you to touch the families that are in need of a healing, the families that experienced a loss just recently. We ask you for comfort with those families. Lord, we ask you to let us keep you first in everything that we do. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Mr. Morone, do we have any amendments to the agenda?
Yep, there's one late add. Good morning, Commissioners. If you look at item, it's Mr. Billy Fuentes. Up there, he's requesting a letter of support for the House bill, and I'm going to find that page eventually. But that is the only change. It's item number 10 and House Bill 4081, and Mr. Billy should be here by then to discuss that with the board. There might have been some formatting changes as I was working through some stuff last night, trying to put the agenda, the report items actually on the agenda, but everything else has stayed the same. It's just some formatting change. So that was the only change, sir.
All right,
We're doing the addition.
okay. Need a motion to approve the agenda as has been amended. We have a motion by Commissioner Amison,
Second.
second by Commissioner Crew. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. All right, up next, we're paying the county's bills and approving the minutes from the February 18th meeting of this year.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Crew,
Second.
second by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. All right, we're at public comments. Ms. Lydia Johnson? Or is this online?
Well, I don't see her online by raising her hand. It was turned in from being
Right.
online, but it's, no, sir, I do not. So I guess we can move that to another meeting.
We will, if she comes on later.
Okay.
Michael, so you'll know too, the phone number ends in 5180.
Thank you. Yeah, just one phone number, that's not it. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Not a problem. So if she does show up, we'll come back to her, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, Department Director's report, we have some action items from Ms. Daniels. Is she on Zoom?
She should be attending on Zoom. Let me
Okay.
see, up there she is. There she is.
Good morning, Commissioners. How are you doing?
Doing good.
I apologize. I'm attending by Zoom this morning. We're in the middle of the state hurricane exercise, and so I'm a little time crunched for being here for that. But my action items, my first one, I'm requesting the board to retroactively approve the chairman's signature on the burn ban we issued last week. It's dated 4/8/26.
So move.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward. It's been seconded by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion, Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question. Obviously, we'll know when this burn ban's been lifted. I don't think there's any rain in the forecast, so it looks like this
No,
may...
ma'am.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, the volume's a little odd here. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's fine.
That we are not looking for any significant rain for a good month or so. At that point, though, the good news is we should start to have a little bit above average rainfall, is what National Weather Service has told me.
Okay, so, thanks.
Basically.
Yes, ma'am.
Feast or famine.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's...
Yep, it is. Any other questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Go ahead, Ms. Jim.
Yes, sir. My second action item, I'm requesting the board's approval and signing of the POD MOU. A POD is a point of distribution MOU is a memorandum of understanding that we have with the city of Carabel. We have had our MOUs approved through our county attorney. These MOUs allow us to order pod kits, MREs, or shelf-stable meals, tarps, water, and we can provide this to the city of Carabel. And then the city of Carabel will man and run the pod, but it gets us established with who has responsibility for what prior to an event. And we will have one of these with the city of Appalachia at the next board meeting. I just didn't receive it in time to get it into this one, this board meeting.
I guess is this, you said that the county attorney has reviewed this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward. It has been seconded by Commissioner Amison. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Anything else? Ms.
That's
Jean?
all yes, sir, that's all I have for us today.
All right, Commissioners, any questions for Ms. Daniels?
I've got a question.
All right,
Jenny, give us the latest outlook on that fire that's down in Dixie County that's burning. How much contained is it off of Highway 351?
It was 80%.
On Dixie County, I'm not sure, Commissioner, but I will find out and I can let you know.
Yeah, because that's what, I mean, we haven't got any fires yet, but we have in the counties, around us. And I just want to make
Yes.
sure that we stay on top of it. So,
Yes, ma'am, I will find out and I'll email everyone and let them know is that okay?
yep, that's fine.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
thank you, Ms. Jenny, we appreciate you.
Yes, sir, thank you, y'all have a good day.
You too. All right, Mr. Rowe, we open sealed bids next.
We might have to put that off because Ms. Griffith is on her way over. I
Okay,
didn't think she expected us to move that fast this morning, sir. to be
Well,
honest with
She
you.
happens.
underestimates us.
so you want to
Imagine
go
that.
to the audit report then?
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah,
That's next after Ms. Griffin's. Mr. Brian Hull?
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Or,
Morning.
Thank y'all for having me. So we'll talk about the September 30, 2025 audit of the hospital. And similar to prior years, we'll just kind of go through the high points, the things that if I was in your chair, I'd want to talk about. If anybody has any questions, y'all just holler at me and we'll go into it. But thanks again for having me, and thanks for your business. It does mean a lot to us. So if you have a copy of it, look at the opinion, which is the first unnumbered page. This is an unqualified, clean opinion, which is what you want. That we're not, basically it says we're not aware of any material misstatements of the financial statements. So diving right in, we're going to go to page 12. So the balance sheet, page 12 is the assets, so what the hospital fund owned as of September 30th. Top line on there, cash, you can see cash is stable at $2.8 million. It was $2.9 million the year before. Historically, that's a healthy amount of cash for this facility. So that's pretty good news there. Second line is receivables, and obviously we spend a lot of time making sure that the receivables are true and are going to turn into cash. We're comfortable with that number, right at $1 million of receivables. Most of those numbers on those page are consistent. I did want to bring to your attention the other receivables, which is $1.372 million, much higher than last year. The reason for that is the state owes the hospital DISH monies. I believe $250,000 came in this week, but they still owe a pretty substantial amount from last year, so they're quite a bit behind, and that's tied up in the legislature. So the next page is the liabilities. If assets is what the hospital owned, then liabilities is what the hospital owes. So just looking at the liabilities, you can see the accounts payable, $700,000, which is down from $1 million the year before. That's good. The hospital is not stretching vendors. They're not holding invoices, anything like that, which we always take a look at. They're keeping current on their vendors, so that's a good thing. 2 lines down from that, due to other funds, that's the amount due to the county. 159 versus 500 the year before. Unearned revenue, 730,000. That's a larger amount. Each of the last few years, the hospital has received an appropriation from the state, a line item in the state's budget, but that is earmarked in how it has to be spent. So that is essentially, as that cash comes in, it's hung on the balance sheet until we spend it the way that the state requires us to spend it, and then it gets recognized as income. The estimated third-party settlements, which is $1 million, there's actually a current and a long-term portion of that. So if you look in the middle of the page, you'll see another estimated third-party settlements, which is the long-term portion of $1 million. So altogether, that's about $2 million. That is where your cost reports, although that's a smaller portion of it, and the LIP payback goes. So we got about $2 million of liabilities on the books right now. Of that $2 million, $800,000 is a known payback that of LIP overpayments that the hospital is required to pay back to the state, and then about $1 million is the estimated for what the state may ask for in the future. We're hoping it's less than that, but that's our best estimate. So again, we know that we owe the state $800 million, or excuse me, not 800 million, 800,000 of LIP payback. But again, remember that they owe us $1 million of DISH. So that's kind of the balance sheet in a nutshell. So going to the next page, if anybody has any questions, of course, just holler at me. But page 14 is the income statement. So the way I look at things, if you look at the total operating revenues for the hospital, you'll see it's 9.4 million versus 10.1 the year before, so it's down. It's actually down 7%. For whatever reason, we're seeing that across the region, not just in the Panhandle, but obviously in South Alabama, South Georgia as well. I guess maybe it was tied to the flu season, I don't know, but the volumes were just down a little bit in 25. So that impacted your operating revenues down 7%. If you come into your operating expenses, your expenses were up 6%. So not a good combination, but expenses obviously always climb. Your largest expense category in the increase was salaries at $7.2 million, and it increased 11%. So if you look right in the middle of the page, the operating income loss, we have a loss of $4.5 million versus a loss of $3 million the year before. So a tougher year operationally in 25, and again, this is what we're seeing pretty much across the region. And that's before you add in the grants and the county monies. So then when you get into the non-operating section, the transfers, that's where the grants come into play and the amount, the monies that the subsidies that the county gives. So when you add those in, the total bottom line decrease, loss if you want to call it that, was $318,000 this year versus $658,000 the year before. So after grants, after county contributions, pretty close to break even for 2025 and a little bit closer to break even than they were in 24. So page 15 is the cash flow statement, which gets a little complicated. So I like to look at this in totals. So that on page 15, the first section at the top, that's just running the hospital. So if you look at the total of that section, you've got right at $4 million that it costs to run the hospital. That's before you get into the county money, anything else. So it costs $4 million to run the hospital in 25 and $1.8 million the year before. So obvious question is, why did it cost more to run the hospital in 25 than 24? And most of that is, and this is just looking at it from a cash perspective, most of that is going to be tied up in the fact that we got DISH flowing through 24. We didn't get the DISH in 25. So obviously there's less cash there. At the bottom, you can see the change in the cash. We came into the year with $2.9 million, left with $2.8 million. So again, a pretty healthy amount of cash, historically speaking, for this hospital. All right. So if there's no questions, we'll, if there are questions, just holler at me. If there's not, we'll skip ahead to page 22. Let you get there. So page 22, right in the middle of the page, is the charity care. So obviously you guys are a public facility. part of your mission is to provide care to the community regardless of their ability to pay. So I always like to bring this up and show you kind of in black and white. The third line from the bottom of that paragraph, you can see the costs. So it cost the hospital right at a little bit above $300,000 to provide care to people that did not have the ability to pay. So the hospital is meeting their community benefits requirement, in my opinion. And again, I would highlight that the total quote-unquote net loss for the facility this past year was $300,000. We gave $300,000 away to the community in free care. So it's a meaningful impact for a community of this size, for sure. All right. So we can skip all the way to page 32 if you'd like. So on page 32, those numbers at the bottom, I always like to look at this with all of my hospital clients because, as you know, we treat patients, but ultimately the patients are not necessarily the customers. The customers are what the insurance card is in their pocket. So it's important to know what insurances the hospital is seeing because that makes a big difference on the profitability or lack thereof of a hospital. And if you look at this mix, you'll see that we only have 1% traditional Medicaid, and we have about 80% a mix of Medicare and commercial. So I've been doing this a long time, and I can tell you that's a good mix. So that means the people that are showing up at your hospital are the right people. They have the right insurance card in their pocket. The problem that the hospital has is not enough of them are showing up. So you have a good mix. The community is well insured. We just don't have enough volume there. On page 33, note 11, won't go through all this because it's a very long note, but you may be interested in reading page 33 to 35 at some point. It describes all the dish and lip situation, how much we got, how much they owed us, and then also goes into the lip paybacks, why that happened, which again was no fault of any hospital, but why the lip paybacks are there, how much is known, how much is estimated, how we got there, all that kind of thing. All right. And then finally on page 39 is the internal control report. So the good news is last year we had 3 internal control findings. Management and their team worked really hard in 25 to clear 2 of those findings. So we only have 1 finding left. The finding that's remaining is segregation of duties, which is very difficult to clear. Essentially what we have is a small hospital with people, working hard and doing the right thing, but we got a few people wearing a lot of hats. So optimal segregation of duties where we can spread out tasks across people and establish a true control structure, hard to achieve in a facility this size. So that's why that finding is there. We've spoken to the hospital and the board about what can be done. Honestly, it's probably going to take spreading some duties to Alliant, perhaps spreading some duties to the county if we want to remove that finding. But that is a very common finding in a facility this size. So that one is the only one left, which is probably good news. Beyond that, and I know I moved fast there intentionally, but beyond that, that's really it. If anybody has any questions or wants to go into any further detail on any of that, I'm glad to do it.
Commissioners, have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I don't really have any questions, just I did have, on page 16, I had a question about the definition of the compensated absences and the third-party settlements, but then in reviewing, as I went further down on page 19, you kind of explained it a little bit, but can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
On page 16?
Yes, page 16, there was discussion of a compensated absences
Yes.
and third-party settlements. And then
Yes.
again, like I said, on 19, it looked like it was, you answered it, but if you could elaborate that.
Absolutely.
So clarify that for me in my head, if you will.
Absolutely, and this is not an easy concept. This is very accounting.
That's why I was going to have you explain it.
So page 16, essentially what it's trying to do is explain the cash from operations, which is on page 15, that's what we were talking about, how much did it cost us in cash during the hospital, is trying to explain that in terms of the balance sheet. So really how you do this is you look at the balance sheet and you take the difference in those numbers year over year. So what you're seeing there in the middle of page 16 is the change in those numbers year over year. So for example, in compensated absence is $21,000. That means a compensated absence is liability, which is, the liability for paid time off. It went up $21,000. Okay. If it went down, it would have been a negative. So the same thing with the third-party settlements. Obviously, that's a big number. That went up $800,000. And the reason it went up is because that we added another year of LIP. They actually sent us another letter requesting more money back, and then we added another year of LIP. So that LIP issue is going to stay there until ultimately the state says, we're done requesting money back. Until that date, every year that goes by, we're going to have to keep increasing the liability for another year. So again, we're all hoping that we've got more estimated liabilities on the books than they'll ultimately request back. But until the state says we're done, this issue solved, we'll have to keep accruing it. And then when they say that, then we'll be able to true up the numbers, and if there's any excess, we can wipe it off, which is all what we're hoping for. But right now, this is the best estimate we can do.
Mr. I got one more additional question. So in terms of leased equipment, I know that leased equipment is technically considered a liability.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think that if we stop, I know some equipment, I guess maybe has to be leased, but do you think that we're better off in purchasing outright some of this equipment versus leasing
It's just really
over the course of time? I mean,
it's just a cash flow consideration. So for the accounting, and again, this gets really nerdy accounting stuff, but when you lease, and this actually just changed in the last 5 years or so, but when you lease a piece of equipment, you would put it on your balance sheet as an asset just like you bought it, but then you'd have a liability for the future payments. So they wash to zero.
okay.
So from a financial statement perspective, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But when you lease, of course, you got to pay interest. So it's all simple cash flow. If we have to have an ultrasound machine, does it make more sense to write a check today or finance it over 4 years? And of course, that depends on the term, the interest rate they're willing to provide, that kind of thing.
Thanks. That's all I have.
All right, anyone else?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I got a couple questions. Brian,
Yes, sir.
how long have you been conducting the audit for Wings?
That is a good question. Put me on the spot.
Probably find it on our
For a while.
website.
Yeah, Aaron may know. I want to say maybe 5 years, somewhere in there.
It does seem to be about that long.
Okay,
yeah.
ballpark.
Likewise, and having fun.
Based on your audit, what should the board be most concerned about going forward?
Yeah, I guess I would kind of frame it a couple different ways. If we look back to when I started auditing the facility, it was right after COVID, or maybe during COVID, so whole different landscape. But I can tell you the accounting-wise, which is what I see, the accounting and the numbers, accounting-wise has improved dramatically. We have much fewer entries, and the timing of when I'm presenting to you today has been escalated. I wasn't presenting to you in April in the past. So those are all good things. Again, on the good side, when we first started, as you'll remember, it was a little hot politically. The hospital was having to come back to the county asking for money from time to time. I don't remember that occurring in the last few years, and the hospital has a healthy amount of cash. So ultimately, in your seat as a commissioner, if I was in your seat, that's how I like to kind of think of it. If I was in your seat, what would I want to think about? Here we have a small aging facility, very aging facility. It is very meaningful for the community for this hospital to be here. If we have a tourist, or me and my family are down here, St. George Island, and we have a health issue, it's a long way to get anywhere else. So it's very important to have the hospital here. And also, I went through. You have the right. The people that are here have the right insurance. So that's a core building block for a facility. It's just the volume. So what I would be worried about, I don't know that I'm worried, but if I was in your shoes, I'd want to make sure that the hospital can financially sustain itself from a cash flow perspective. So the hospital's not going to come back to the county constantly asking for money, which they haven't recently. And then I'd also be thinking about, and I know you guys have, long-term, what does it look like for this community? Because we need to maintain a hospital to support our community and our tourist volumes. But we have a heavily aged facility, so what does that look like? And to what level can we renovate, expand, build, while also ensuring that what we do is going to cash flow itself and the county won't have to come back and fund it more? I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of my thoughts.
And you kind of touched on, excuse me, one of my other questions. I wanted to know, throughout your last 5 years, in your opinion, has the hospital, I guess, improved in level of adjustments over the
Yes.
5 years?
The accounting has gotten markedly better. Now, there's still ways to go. It's still a small facility with a few people wearing a lot of hats. I don't know that that's going to change, but that's gotten a lot better. I think the financial situation has gotten better. Obviously, COVID was an outlier when we had the government putting out trillions with a T of money, and some of that was kind of raining on us. So after COVID, during COVID, two different things. But financially and cash flow wise, I think the hospitals is definitely improved. But again, our problem with the hospital from a county perspective, the hospital doesn't control who shows up. The hospital doesn't control how many people show up. The hospital's issue, as I see it, is volume, the amount of people that are going to the facility. So the hospital kind of lives or dies on community support. How many people stop at that hospital when they need help versus drive right by. So as long as the community supports that hospital, I see it being there for as long as you want it there. But we need to increase that community support and do whatever it takes from an investment standpoint to help the facility, to bring the right providers there to ensure that the community feels comfortable stopping there and not driving right by.
Gotcha. And my last question for you. Were there any concerns identified that didn't rise to a formal finding?
Good question. I like that question. Yeah. So in our world, there's two types of findings. Again, really nerdy accounting stuff here, but material weakness is, and that's what I believe that's what we've labeled as segregation of duties. Could be wrong, but material weakness is either something that materially changed the numbers. If I had to change the numbers from what they gave me, that can be a material weakness, or it could have changed the numbers. Significant deficiency is anything else that I wanted to provide to you in writing. So those are the two I have to provide to you in writing. Below that is control findings, which are lesser importance, lesser intensity that I talk to about management. So really, there's always things going through the audit that I'll talk to management about, things, improvement points, all that, lots of those. Fewer this year. And then one of the things I'll always talk about is part of our audit is pretty IT intensive. So we look at the technology structure, we look for exposures, and we always have discussions between management about what we found. What we have, that did not rise to the level that I need to put in writing. But even if it did, I would tell you we no longer disclose that in a public forum because we have found, and you may have seen this, that the threat actors, the bad guys, they're watching these meetings and they are reading the packets and they are actively targeting the counties around here. I can give you lots of examples just in the last year. So we no longer discuss those in a public forum. But we always discuss these matters with management as soon as we find things and make sure that they're getting things corrected as soon as they can.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I just got a request. Would you mind hanging around? So
For the pharmacy?
Yes, please.
Yes. I
We
plan
may
to do
need
that.
to lean on you with some
All right.
nerdy stuff.
I'm here. I'm your nerd. All right. Anything else for me?
Thank you.
Thanks,
All
Brian.
right. Thank y'all.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, a couple of things. So one, Lady Johnson that filled out the speaker card is online, but in our discussion, I think that needs to be an agenda item because I think there needs to be back and forth about that project. So I've emailed her and asked her if she would mind attending the May 5th instead of doing public comments now. And also, I failed to, this morning when you asked about the agenda, I failed to remind you guys there's a time certain public hearing at 11 o'clock this
yes.
morning. So
Yes.
I just want to bring that to your attention.
Yeah, I think that would be better for Ms. Johnson, because she's a representative from ARPC, and the commissioners might have questions, and that public comment
Doesn't allow
provide
it,
for
yes,
that.
sir.
All right, Ms. Griffith, we're ready to open RFQ.
Okay, today, Commissioners, we are opening sealed bids for the East Point Nature Center project. The project description, work will be on the vacant lots at 338, 342 Highway 98 in East Point. The work entails constructing a 3-stall parking lot with 2 driveways, a modular restroom with concrete pad and utilities, construction of a covered wooden stage, 2 wooden pedestrian footbridges, and interior sidewalks. All other improvements as shown on the plan set as well. Okay, and we only received 2 bids for this project, although the mandatory pre-bid meeting was attended by 11 contractors. And the first bid is from Galloway Construction Incorporated, located in East Point, Florida. Galloway Construction Incorporated in East Point, Florida. Total base bid, $283,445.90. $283,445.90. Oh, good.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question if you don't mind.
Bid bond was required and included, yes.
Yes,
On these bids, I know you have the project description, but I also know that there's 2 phases. Is this considered phase 1?
This is considered phase 1.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure of that.
And the second bid is from Maharex Contracting, located in Mexico Beach, Florida. Maharex Contracting, located in Mexico Beach, Florida. Total base bid price, $441,240.40. $441,240.40. And let's see here. Bid bond is included.
Who do you want us to turn this over to?
This will be released back to the project engineers, Dewberry and Associates, for their review and recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we turn these bids over to the Dewberry people.
we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Sanders, second by Commissioner Amison. I have a question, Ms. Eric. So, will we be waiting for the next meeting for Dewberry to come back with this before they can start? How does that work?
Oh, actually, that is, I'm glad you brought that up. That's something that I should have included in my action item. Because we are pushed for time on this one, I would like to receive special authorization where they can actually review the bids and pursuant to them finding that the lowest bid was actually included all the necessary forms for us to be able to go ahead and proceed with issuing a notice of intent to award contingent upon Dewberry's review.
Okay, so Commissioner Sanders, do you amend your motion to include
My
that?
motion's amended.
I'm in my second.
The second's been amended as well. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Okay, Commissioners, as part of my regular report, I actually have, let's see here, 10 action items for your approval, and then just some board informational items. I don't know if anything needs to be pulled or discussed.
Commissioners, is there anything you want us to talk about specifically, or you're good with entertaining all 10 of these items as consent?
I like pull number 3.
Which,
Number 3.
all right, anyone else?
We can pull number 4 unless, well, y'all do understand what that is, correct? Or do we need to?
No.
Okay, you don't? You're fine? Okay,
So you
we'll just let it go.
Okay. Any others? All right, so I would entertain a motion to approve items 1 through 2 and 4 through 10 on Ms. Griffin's report.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. All right, let's talk about number 3.
All right, Commissioners, action item number 3, Omnicom Consulting Engineers have located an area of right-of-way along US Highway 98, which is managed by FDOT to the far west of Apalachicola, which would work as a tower site location. The county has been unsuccessful locating a viable location in this area, as most property is owned by a single large landowner with no interest in selling, or publicly owned forest land managed by FWC, who as an entity, their response was that a tower would not be permissible use for their lands. The county's Triumph grant will only fund the construction of a communications tower on publicly owned land. The area to the west of Apalachicola already has existing communications towers utilized by private cell carriers. If the county constructs a tower on state leased property, it will not be possible to rent space for private carriers. In this area, as private carriers already have coverage and space, the leased site will work for the county's emergency radio connectivity. The county is still working to acquire a parcel up north along Highway 65 because no towers are in that area, and a tower is needed for both radio connectivity and private carriers. Board action to approve and authorize the chairman to sign the Highway 98 right-of-way lease site request.
Any questions or discussion, Commissioners?
My only one was, I guess we finally found a site over here on the west side. And we're still trying to acquire property up 65?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we are waiting for the appraisal company. They're still working on the appraisal of Mr. Walter Armstead's parcel up there.
Mr. Chairman, I did, just so you guys know, I know everyone is aware that we had a really bad tragic accident up Highway 65 last week and some lives were lost. I have been trying since I've been on this board to get a tower up Highway 65. You can go back to the minutes, you can go back to from the first time I'm on the board, as county staff, we've tried everything. I did email, I should have included you, but I did send an email to, problem is a lot of property up that way is state-owned. So I did reach out and email Representative Schoaf and Senator Simon, because I did receive an email from a concerned citizen that actually witnessed the car accident.
Oh, no.
She was having trouble getting access to calling 911. She was having trouble getting through to people to call for help, and that is unacceptable. Plain out unacceptable. It is our job as commissioners to provide the welfare, safety, and security of our citizens, and I feel like we failed. So with that, I did email our state representatives, legislators. I have not heard anything back. I plan to follow up with them and probably tomorrow, the next day, because I sent the email. The accident happened last week. I sent it. I'm trying to give them some time. I did email or text Representative Schoaf's assistant, Miss Amy Hersey, to let her know. I was sending the email. And I think she had a death in the family, so I don't think she's been in the office this week, so I'm not going to reach out to her, but I will reach out and make sure that they did receive the emails to see if there's anything they can do for us. I know people want to preserve natural land, I get that, but a cell phone tower is not, they can give us a little tiny bit of, an acre is all I'm asking, that's it.
Yeah.
And a cell phone tower at that, to help save lives. So, anyway, that's all I'm going to say on that.
Yep, no, that's a good thing. So I do know that I talked to her yesterday. She was calling me about the funeral arrangements. But she also mentioned to me when she was talking to me that they are actively working and trying to find sites
Okay,
on
that's good.
65. All right. Pleasure of the board. Do we want to make a motion?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
So we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Crew, second by Commissioner Ward. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous.
And Mr. Chairman, Aaron, if you will keep me updated on the survey for the Armistead site? Thank you.
All right, anything else for Ms. Aaron? Ms. Aaron, you do have some updates, correct?
I do, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
The D.W. Wilson Sports Arena Pickleball Courts project is out to bid. A mandatory pre-bid meeting is scheduled for tomorrow on site at 10 o'clock a.m. The Restore Countywide Dune construction elements began last week at Carabel Beach Wayside Park. Please see the attached notice to the public. The park facilities will remain open during this time of construction. The Apalachicola Library paving project is currently out to bid as well. And survey work has been completed for Miller and Jubilee Streets in Lanark Village. We are awaiting the paving change order quote for roadway resurfacing.
Right.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I got something for Aaron.
All right.
I was actually going to put this on under Michael's report, but it kind of goes with the two of you. I know we just went out for FERDAP grants for Vrooman and we received money and spent about $700-something thousand to fix that park up. I know that there were some things that we didn't get to do. So I know we can't go out for a FERDAP grant for 10 years, correct? Is that how that works?
It's actually a 20-year exclusion
20.
for any elements of the park that have already been touched by FERDAP.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we can maybe potentially go out for a FERDAP grant or some other grant for the other side of the park, maybe fix up the concession stand. Is there a way we can do that?
The concession stand, I believe, was actually built with FERDAP money. I'll have to go back and research that, but I believe originally it was.
Okay.
I would have to go back and see how many years ago that was.
Okay. Because I've been getting a lot of concerns about Vrooman and it not being utilized by our ball teams, and I've reached out to Mr. Davis. There were some issues that we had a couple of years ago that have been fixed and addressed. So, and we got the lighting fixed we had an issue. If I don't know what's going on out there, I don't know how to fix it. So my question is to the public, I would like to get an idea of what needs to be fixed out there. And I've been out there 2 or 3 different times in the last week or two. But I don't have kids, they don't play ball, so I don't know. And Commissioner Amoson's good about letting me know kind of what was wrong too. But I would like to know what we need to get fixed out there and try to get it fixed. And I'm gonna get with Mr. Davis.
Okay.
I did talk to Mr. Davis and asked him if there was anything going on out there, and he said no, everything seems to be fine and working and fixed. So I don't understand why the park's not being utilized. I heard something about the regulation fencing, which and then the bases, and I know that the 2 fields we didn't do. Obviously, there's some issues, but I would like to, I guess the purpose for you is to see if we can maybe get some grant money to fix up the other half of the park that needs to be fixed up, including the concession stand, maybe redoing the bathrooms, things like that.
Okay, and actually, Commissioner, if we could get a list of items, there may be some of those items that we can actually remedy relatively quickly that wouldn't cost that much.
Yep, thank you.
Very good. Anyone else?
Just a couple of things. Aaron, out there at Kendrick Park, we've got a bad parking problem out there on the first day of ball, just like you do all throughout the county when we have the first day of ball. But we've got some options out there. I'm gonna get with you and tell you what the options are.
Okay.
And one of them is to do some parking out there in the back part of the 45 acres in the back part of that park that we've got. So I will be coming there. Also, I've got some striping and stuff in Lanark and Carabel that I'm wanting to do. Instead of paving roads, I'm going to try to stripe it because the pavement's good, but you can't see the stripes on the road.
Okay.
So, and that's just about as expensive as what the asphalt is to pave. So there's a few more things I'm going to talk to you about, and then we'll bring it to the board. And that's what I like to run it by you and then come to the board, because if you don't, it's going to start with her.
Does that include the stuff we talked about Alligator Point?
Yeah.
About the guardrail and different things?
The one thing that was, while you're here, I'll go ahead and ask it. The one thing that was asked about at this meeting in Alligator Point Saturday was the plans to do the bike path, to join the 2 parts of the bike path together and make it down to the end of the point where the marina is. Over there on the KOA property part of it, is there something that they're gonna do right in there to join that part with the part that's down there by the old firehouse?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah,
Because-
I'll check with Josh Stevens though and make sure.
What the people were worried about is you're gonna have to have something like a bridge or something with the, because that is kinda low right in there.
Yeah.
And you know, every time we get a hard rain or a blow, it's gonna do something, but that was one of the things. And the other thing is, just so you'll know, because I discussed it with you last week, they're ready for the firehouse to come
okay.
down there.
Okay.
So, but I did tell them that then they would have to look at people parking possibly on that land, and they said if we could rope it off, it would be good.
Okay.
But we'll see what we can do on that.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. And then, I think that's about it. I'll get with you on the other stuff.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, Aaron, would you mind hanging around for the pharmacy presentation, or you?
Oh, yeah, she's,
Oh, yeah,
she has a public hearing, so she's not.
Yeah, I'm here
Okay.
through.
Well, I didn't know if we were
Post
gonna get
11.
that before or after, so I just want to make sure everybody that counts the money is we're good.
Yeah.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, Ms. Sarah. All right, so let's have a discussion about pharmacy. Mr. Walker's not here? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Walker?
Let me get on here. Can you hear me?
Barely.
Yeah. Okay, good morning, Commissioners. I'm under the weather, so I'm not attending personally here. I just want to bring to you the presentation of the Carabel Retail Pharmacy, in which we had Dr. Jason Prokopik and Dr. Alyssa Kramer present this analysis to the board, hospital board. And we wanted to bring them back here today so they can present to you all, and we can have further discussion on creating access to care on the east end of the county by creating a retail pharmacy. So I'd like to turn it over to Jason Prokopik now to go to the retail analysis.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Do you all have any presentation in front of you of what we
Yes.
provided? Okay. So I don't have to share my screen, but I'm going to walk through kind of our analysis. Briefly, a background about Alyssa and I. We're both pharmacists, but work for an accounting firm in the Midwest. We do some work at the hospital already on the consulting side. We've opened, we've done evaluation for maybe 25 different hospital and health center types. We're opening pharmacies regularly in many states. And so I feel like what we're presenting is pretty accurate and valid information. We're welcome to your questions and any holes that you may want to poke in our data. If you look at the first slide, this is the total, the title of it is called Potential Script Volume. We were given the script volume from the clinic there in Carabel. These are the prescriptions that were written throughout the course of a year and were electronically sent to any pharmacy location that would be anywhere in the state, anywhere in the country really. And we do this to see what the volume and what the opportunity is, and it's really our starting point. And so we have about 50,000 prescriptions. We don't know where they went. We don't know if they went to CVS or to Buy-Right or if they went to some kind of specialty pharmacy in New Jersey. It really doesn't matter to us. The volume matters because every prescription is worth money to the hospital. And so when building a retail pharmacy, we need to make sure that we can stand up that building and run it efficiently and, you know, eventually make a profit. And so the math here, we assume that only 40% of every prescription will be provided, that 40% of every prescription that's provided will actually end up at the retail pharmacy because people are loyal to their local pharmacy or insurance information dictates where that patient goes. And we used a conservative capture rate of 40% because we feel like we don't want to give anybody a false sense of hope with the pharmacy. And so 40% is our standard, and this is pretty fair in our opinion. And then the column, the second to left column, the value per prescription, we use some national and regional averages in terms of the value of every prescription. This could change from $100 to $125, but we used this number from the Kaiser Foundation, and we used it for your region, and we came up with $113 per prescription. And if you do the math there, 24,000 prescriptions times $113 should show you a profit, or sorry, a net revenue of $2.7 million. Now, let me just send a caveat here. This number is not on day one. This number is at the end of year 2. So this is what we're striving to reach in terms of the end of the year 2 financials. And so there will, the next slide that we show you, the next slide is what we would anticipate for salaries. So if we have 24,000 prescriptions, this is our estimated salary for a pharmacist and a technician. So this is basically payroll, includes benefits and taxes. With this number, we have a calculation that we use that created this. This all will go into the next slide. And obviously the pharmacist salary can vary, the technician salary can vary, the amount of people you need will vary as volume grows. But all of those numbers from slides 2 and 3, as well as some of our basic knowledge of pharmacy and from other hospitals that have already built retail pharmacies, these are the numbers that we've calculated that at the end of year 1, the results will dictate that there will be a loss, but that also takes into account capital expenses. And so we factored in $114,000 for general renovations, and we also factored in $50,000 into the inventory numbers, which is under the cost of goods sold, COGS. And so the year 1 estimates are very conservative, but it also takes into account the fact that you're going to have to build out a pharmacy. You might have to operate it without filling prescriptions for a couple months, and then you're going to need drugs on the shelf. And so at the end of the day, we feel at the end of year 1, you should fill around 7,800 prescriptions, 7,700 prescriptions. And when you factor in the 340B savings that the hospital offers, that's the drug discount program the hospital's involved in. When you factor all these in to the mix, we feel you're going to lose money the first year, and you can see the numbers there. If you then go to the next slide, as the volume ramps up, you take away the capital costs that you had in the first year, and you don't need an initial inventory anymore. You're now looking at a much better picture in year 2, and the salary numbers should match the slide I showed you. The operating expenses it's a calculation that we do, a variable cost over time. And when you ramp up the prescription volume to hit the marks that we wanted, which is 24,000 prescriptions at $113 per prescription, this equates to a much better picture of a 30% net profit compared to revenue. Now, this will fluctuate based on capture rates, and it will fluctuate based on payroll and operating expenses and all the different things that go into it. But we feel pretty confident that this, even though we feel it's conservative, we feel that this pharmacy can make money over time as long as you utilize the 340B program. So I'll pause there for any questions or general comments, or if you need any clarity on some of this information.
Do you have any questions, Commissioners?
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, just one. So your projected first-year loss is going to fall anywhere between $650,000 and $650,000. Is that what I'm kind of taking from this?
No, the losses will be, we estimated $184,000.
Okay.
The $600,000 are the expenses.
I'm tracking now. Okay. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Jason. What's his name?
Jason.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Kind of what Commissioner Amison was just talking about, the loss. So year 1, I guess we can expect to lose money. Year 2, is projected to make money. Roughly, I guess, 800,000 north. But this entire success depends on your 340B program and volume. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's 100% based on volume and hitting the 24,000 prescriptions at the end of year 2. And then it's the 340B program offers, it offers discounted drugs, and normally the full price of a drug is much higher than the 340B price. So when you add those two things in, that's the only way that the pharmacy could succeed, in our opinion.
Okay, so.
But you have to hit the volume too to make sure that number tracks.
Yeah. So if Weems were a designated REH, would this affect the analysis? And will we still be eligible for the 340B? I don't think so, correct?
To my understanding, the rural emergency hospitals do not qualify for 340B at this time. So not only would you lose the retail pharmacy opportunity, you may lose the savings that you're already getting through Buy-Right and CVS. So on its own, without 340B savings, this retail pharmacy may never make money because again, from the earlier the audit proposal or the audit result presentation, it's a volume business. Retail pharmacy is a volume business, and if we don't have the volume, you can't overcome the cost of the drugs in order to pay the salaries and keep the operations running. So 340B brings that drug price down. It's about a 20 or 30% savings, generally speaking. And so without that program, I wouldn't advise to start a retail pharmacy.
That's probably why there's not a retail pharmacy over there.
Yeah. Speaking of your staffing there, your salaries, Jason, with what's presented, can it operate on that minimum staffing?
We believe if the second slide or the first, the second slide, we do believe that. There's some contingencies with having a backup pharmacist and having part-time workers that would fill in. We estimated the salary to be pretty high from the pharmacy manager because you want to hire the right person. So that might be able to be adjusted downward, but you will need coverage, and there's staffing agencies or there's part-time people out there that would work when your full-time pharmacist is not there. You can't open the doors unless a pharmacist is in the building. So we feel with 3 full-time equivalents, it's enough people to cover all the prescriptions that need to be filled in a day, in a week, and a month. Granted, there will be some coverage needs for outsourcing for when a pharmacist is sick or on vacation, but that really could be factored into the wage that's there. So I think this is a fair number. It's probably a little bit conservative or high in terms of the salaries, but we wanted to give a good picture of what this looks like at full capacity.
Okay. And my last question for you. What is the expected timeline to get a retail pharmacy up and running? And I'm assuming you're going to have approval from the Board of Pharmacy as well. So. Yeah,
a good consultant answer would be that depends. And what it depends on is how fast the space is available. So if we have space available, we estimate usually it's around 9 months, and that includes licensing, that includes getting credentialing into the insurance programs. The factor that we don't have to calculate into that equation is how long will it take to get the space ready. So if we had the space ready today, we probably could get this open in 9 months and have a pretty good program running. Without knowing what that space requirement's gonna take in terms of construction or remodeling, I don't want to say it's going to be a hard, fast 12 months. We typically estimate 9 to 12 months, and the 3-month difference is because of the construction or remodeling of the space.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I've got a couple questions.
Go
So my first question is, on your presentation, the potential script volume, I guess you guys derived that information from the common prescriptions that are written out of our clinics, is that correct? Or the clinics and the hospital?
No, this came from, we received this information from the hospital, and our assessment was that it was only the Carabel Clinic and the prescriptions that were generated from the clinic. Because we were assuming that most folks might not leave the hospital's emergency room and drive the whole way over to Carabel. We wanted to see what that volume looked like just in that area. And so I believe we were given these numbers through another consultant presentation from the past, but that was originated from the Carabel Clinic on its own.
Okay. Another question, is there a way, you were talking about construction, finding a space, is there a way that we can use our current Carabel Clinic to run this pharmacy out of to save cost?
Yeah, we looked at, we did a virtual Zoom tour last week, I believe, and there are 2 spaces available. Ideally, we would want the pharmacy right at the entrance of the clinic, and with that, there's not enough space necessarily in the clinic, but there's a patio that could be repurposed. And so that's kind of what I'm getting at. If we're able to repurpose that space there, that would be a good location. It's just, it might take some time, and it might cost a little bit more than $100,000 to repurpose. We were looking at a clinic room as well on the back side of the clinic. We don't love that setup in terms of getting board of pharmacy approvals and DEA inspections and all those things. We probably could make it work, but that would be the decision that we have to make. Our goal would be to keep it right there on campus, because the minute a patient gets in a car is the minute they're not going to use your pharmacy. So if we can isolate those patients, have the doctor write the prescription, and leave with that prescription, that could increase our capture rates from 40% to 50% or higher. So we want it to be on campus there, yes, absolutely. It's just a matter of how much it's going to cost to get one of those 2 spaces in a good spot for the pharmacy.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I got an additional question. So I did watch your presentation at the Weems Board of Directors meeting, and there was some questions. If you could elaborate on the 340B program. Now, you have traditional pharmacy, you have the 340B pharmacy. Is there a limit of how many? First of all, I just want to throw this out before I ask this question. I'm all for a pharmacy in Carabel. It's been needed. It's been needed for a long time. I've gone back and looked at minutes and where it's been discussed since 2011. So we definitely need it. I'm sorry? Oh, but my question is the 340B. Is there a certain number of pharmacies within a county that can have the 340B program, or do they pick and choose? Like, for example, we've got 2 pharmacies now. If we open this one in Carabel, hypothetically, could all 3 be 340B pharmacies, or do we have to pick and choose which one? Because I think at the meeting it was mentioned that, is it by rights, the 340B pharmacy?
Yeah.
So would that change if Carabel becomes, if we get a pharmacy in Carabel, the 340B prescription program will shift there and take it away from by right? I'm just trying to kind of get clarity on that.
Yeah. No, it's a very changing dynamic every day. So there are no limitations for how many contract 340B pharmacies Weems has. If your patient volume was triple and you had 10 pharmacies in town and it made sense financially, you could have 10 340B pharmacies under the Weems umbrella. So there are no restrictions from the government's perspective. Since COVID, the drug manufacturers have put, it's debatable whether it's legal or not, but they've put restrictions on the 340B pricing for multiple contract pharmacies. So right now, most companies, the folks that make breathing treatments and blood pressure medicine and diabetic medicine, all of the high-end brand names that you see commercials of, I'll use Ozempic because we all know that product, that company has said, we're not allowing Weems to have unlimited contract pharmacies as a policy from the drug company, not from the government, from the drug company. And what they've said is you can pick one partner. And so Weems has picked By-Right as that partner. So only for Ozempic, patients can get 340B pricing at By-Right. If you build your own pharmacy, that pricing would shift to your own pharmacy away from By-Right. So for Ozempic specifically, you would no longer make any money from By-Right because that pricing has been shifted to your pharmacy. Not every pharmaceutical manufacturer has a restriction. So By-Right would still be a 340B pharmacy for you, but the opportunity would be reduced because of the individual actions of each drug company. And right now, Florida doesn't have any state laws to protect covered entities, hospitals in 340B. But if you look around you, some of those states have protections like Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, and some others. So that may change over time, but we do have to factor in the loss at By-Right in terms of dollars coming into the hospital whenever the pharmacy gets up and running. And so that's part of our calculation. We have a slide that shows what that loss would be, but it's not a hard and fast rule because it's not that the whole pharmacy gets kicked out of the program. It's just that each individual drug company may only allow you to move that 340B prescription to the Carabel pharmacy. So if you look at the numbers, the pharmacy profit in year 2 outweigh the loss potentially at By-Right, but there may be a time when the loss is greater than the savings until the volume gets high enough at the Carabel pharmacy. So all of that kind of has to be factored in, and I hope I answered your question, but it's not a hard yes or no answer to your question because each drug company is a little bit different.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Anything else, Mr.?
I was gonna say a few things. There's not too much to say about it. There is a need over there in Carabel for it. I think you all have went over there and looked at the Wayne's Clinic, the board of the hospital board. Mr. David, are you still online? I don't think.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I
I'm
am.
gonna go ahead and ask Mr. David, but I mean, I want y'all to nod your head or not, whatever y'all have to do. Mr. David, did you not tell me that there's a possibility that we may have some other news from the Department of Health about a pharmacy? I mean, a pharmacist, changing out pharmacists, wanting to rotate pharmacists in and out of Franklin County and out to the Department of Health.
He's turned one of them off.
He's zooming in, watching me.
So David, you got multiple logins to the system. That's what's causing the echo. You need to
Is that what
kind
it
of
is?
disconnect one of them.
Gotta get,
Or I can
close
disconnect.
that mouth, Mr. David.
I can disconnect one for you.
Yeah.
It ain't, I'll ask somebody here, Mr. David.
Oh, no, that's good. I want to answer that question because I'm meeting with the Florida Department of Health this afternoon. They reached out.
Hey, David, again, until you disconnect one of those, we have a really bad echo on our end. You got two connections to the meeting, so you got to disconnect one of them.
Okay, all right, let me disconnect.
You disconnecting any of them?
No, I didn't want to disconnect the wrong one for him. I just want to make sure he does it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
There you go. You're good now. You still got two.
Yeah, but I can hear him better.
Go again now?
Is it better now?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I got a call, I was reached out by, the Florida Department of Health on a state level office. They're interested in, creating a pharmacy residency program to serve communities like ours. And, we're meeting with them today, to talk more about a pharmacy residency program, that pharmacists can be trained like a rotation through our hospital. And I will also talk with them today about what we want to do here in creating a retail pharmacy. I kind of sent them an email stating that, and just to get their ideas as well. So if this pharmacy residency program begin to be implemented here in Franklin County, what that would mean is that we can have pharmacists do a rotation here. So we have the retail pharmacy part going. These pharmacies pharmacists that need to do rotations can do it here. But like I said, I'll be meeting with them today, this afternoon, and to talk more about, what they're thinking. But I also want to let them know, hey, this is what we have here. We have opportunity to create a retail pharmacy in our Carabel area, which is non-existent. What kind of support services that we can get from Florida Department of Health, Public Health Pharmacy Division. And so it may be some more exciting news as we begin to talk about this, because we can get designated as a pharmacy residency program from the state and get these pharmacists to rotate through us here in our county, you know, that'll be a huge win for us. But we'll have, like I said, we have a conversation this afternoon to talk more about that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. David. The other thing is, had it on my mind, let me think about it. I'm not senile, I do remember things. But no, the only thing that I want to really say about this is that we've been discussing this many a year about a pharmacy in Carabel since the pharmacy closed down with Karen Rabinowitz many years ago. And I know myself and Commissioner Bevan Putnam, we talked about it. Myself and Commissioner William Massey, we talked about it. So, you know, my thing is, oh, I know what it was. Y'all went out there and looked at the clinic, and was it to the right side that y'all said that you could do something?
Yes. Yes,
there.
Yes, it was to the right side, the right front part of the building, you know, that we all thought about. This would be a better location, you know, to have the pharmacy, the right side, front of the building there.
And I'm going to ask the hospital board this and David Boland. I know we've looked at the numbers, and this is the projected numbers. Yes, on the first year, you're going to have a deficit of $184,821, but it's looked at the next year that you compensate for that and to move on. We're not really in business anywhere in this county as far as health care to make money. We're there to provide a need. The need's there, we provide for that need. And that's the way I see it. Now, until such time that we've grown to the capabilities of being able to have a retail pharmacy in Carabel again, you know, the numbers tell you that, yeah, you will make so much of a profit. It's going to be hard numbers to come up with, to start off with. But I think the need is there so much that I think that it will compensate for that first year of a deficit of $184,821. But the need will be taken care of, and that's what I'm looking at. Also, the city of Carabel has talked to David Walker, and that was one of the things that the city of Carabel was concerned, because the hospital board and Williams has been talking about for a few years now, and they basically tell them, you know, get off the pot, do whatever you got to do, you know. So I don't see nothing bad out of this. I see something good, because I was in Alligator Point Saturday, and the folks over there are just as tickled, because they'd rather come to Carabel than go to Crawfordville. Yeah, and see, they're trying to be part of this county. Yeah, it does. Makes me happy too, Krista. But I mean, I just feel like if there's a way that we need to do it, let's see if we can do it. And if in time that it doesn't do, then just, yeah.
May I add one more?
Just a second.
One more.
Go ahead.
I'll just add two things to echo. This pharmacy can be open to the public, so it doesn't have to be just patients of the Carabel Clinic and Weems proper. It can be open to the public, and anyone from the community can come in and use it. And so that gives you some opportunity there. And the second thing, when hospitals set up these pharmacies, it allows you to give medicine to indigent patients that don't have insurance. And you can use the 340B drug pricing program to directly pass these drugs to the patient that maybe can't afford them at CVS or at Buy-Rite. So it opens up, not only does it open up some dollars, but it also opens up potentially more drugs to patients that really need it. And we haven't really seen any hospital in any part of the country that we've helped not benefit from this program. And some of them just break even, but that's okay, because they're now allowed to get patients money, or get patients drugs that they may not be able to afford.
Mr. Duffy, you got something?
Yeah, right quick. I just want to make clear, though, this is going to be a pharmacy. It's not going to be a drugstore. You know, maybe we'll have a few aspirin, you know, stuff like that there. I'm not quite sure, but it's going to be a pharmacy. That's all it can do. And the board's goal is to break even on this somewhere, to provide a service.
Yeah.
That's our goal, and we've had to wait till we had the cash to do it. We got the cash now, and we feel very confident in it's good service. And I've talked to all these folks, David Bolin. The numbers are on the very conservative side. I think we'll pick up probably 60 or 70% of the people that go to the clinic over there. It's going to take a lot of community support, is what it's going to take. And my plans, and I'm going to talk to the board about this, is have a grand opening and, you know, and stuff like that. I'd like it to be very much customer friendly too. Kind of an old time pharmacist, you know, where you go in there and you can actually talk to the pharmacist, you got 5 people waiting behind you and stuff like that. So, but our goal, if we don't hit that 300,000, if we can run even every year, which we'll do a lot better than that. Yeah. I agree with you, Commissioner Sanders. And that's what we've been trying to do it. We just hadn't had the cash. You know, we couldn't get it out of the fund at the county. So that's, and well, the board was all in agreement with this. Been working hard on it, actually 4 or 5 months trying to prepare for it. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as the time on the building, we can't tell you because we wanted to get the board's approval, of course, to do this. I don't know if we have to by whatever, but we certainly want the board to know everything we're doing right there and keep everything right in the open. So, you got any questions from me, I'll answer the best you can. You get down to the technical stuff, these folks here are going to have to answer it. So.
I have several questions. I don't know if necessarily it's for you, Mr. Duffy. So what kind of initial cash investment is it going to take to open this pharmacy?
Well, it's on the slide. He can tell you right there. I don't know off the top of my head.
If I did, it wasn't clear.
114.
Yep. 114,000. That's the initial for our construction. Could run over.
No, I'm talking about opening the pharmacy. You got to have inventory. You got to have people. What's the initial investment?
Oh, I don't know it off the top of my head. Of course. You got it? Yeah, let him chime in.
Sounds good.
About 600,000.
Jason?
No, I would say this capital expense that you see, the 113,900, that includes construction or remodeling costs. That includes software initiatives, computers, some of the basic infrastructure for IT, some of the other types of software that you need. With the building part, it might be a little bit higher. I don't know for sure, but we put a ballpark number in there. Some of the software and those kind of things, we have all that listed out in another worksheet that we could show you. I just don't know what the building costs are going to be. So let's just say that's 115,000 for now. The inventory is built into this cost of goods under the under the 340B RX here. So there's another $50,000 for initial inventory. So in essence, it's going to cost probably $200,000 in total if we're on the high end of the ballparking, about $200,000. And that only is determined by how much it's going to cost for renovations or remodeling. We factored some money in there in that total, but we don't know exactly what that's going to cost.
Okay.
So,
open the door.
Just for clarity there, that you said, let me get my brain wrapped around this. I'm having a foggy morning, but the $200-something thousand, that's just to get the doors open, less the capital improvements? Is that what you're saying, Jason?
No, I'm saying the $200,000 includes some of the renovations and remodeling.
I believe you made, I would hope so, but I don't think that would be very accurate. And I'm not saying I'm against it, I'm just saying I know what the cost of building is, and I would probably err on the side of caution with that, throwing that number out there.
Well, for our purposes, most folks have a space already kind of framed out. So when we put this number together, we didn't know that there would have to be potentially a complete renovation of a space. So we're talking like cabinets and countertops and shelving for drugs, and and some basic remodeling, moving some things around and maybe adding a wall here or there. We didn't factor in a complete build. So that $200,000 wouldn't include any kind of major renovations that might be needed. So if we were looking at the second space that we looked at, which was in the clinic, one of the clinic rooms, our estimates would probably be more accurate because we would just have to make some minor changes to the infrastructure. But I don't know, I'm a pharmacist by trade. I don't do the construction side of things. So that obviously would cost more if that's what you're saying, and I don't know how to estimate what that is.
That's what I was trying to get clarity on, was the 200 that you said, is that gonna be, like shelving, capital expenses, putting shelving in, IT, all that, or is that included in going in and actually having to do some structural work?
It would not include the structural
Okay,
work.
that's fine. That's what I was just trying to figure.
Everything else with some minor tweaks to the space, as well as putting the right shelving and cabinets and countertops in, plus computers and all those things. So I would say that if we have to do major renovations, then we've underestimated the capital expense.
I'd assume that there's got to be some type of security measures too, as far as lock and keys and safe areas for prescription drugs and whatnot. But yeah, I understand that. I was just trying to figure out, when the chairman brought that up, if this was going to be, if that was including the actual renovation of the walls, let's put it that way. But okay, thank you. Sorry about that. I wasn't trying
No,
to.
you're good. It's all good, because if all this is subject to change, then what are we really looking at? Another question I have, and to me, the biggest number on any of these sheets, how did we come up with a figure of $113 per prescription? Because everything's based on that.
Correct. We use, it's the first slide. We use a resource called the Kaiser Foundation. It's a national database that we use. And we just plug in the state and we get an estimate. It tells us, it's cumulative data. I don't know how they calculate where it's at. We do pharmacy audits. Alyssa and I do pharmacy audits regularly. So we have in our minds that number would make sense to us just from what we've seen at CVS's and Walgreens and Walmarts of the world. But we do, and I can give you the resource. It's typically in our reports when we create a report where we found it, but it's under the Kaiser Foundation. I don't have the exact
That's fine.
resource.
It's not a problem. So it's a state average number.
Yeah, we use both state and national averages, but we try to get to the zip code, and sometimes it doesn't give us the exact zip code or county. It'll give us the state, and I don't know which one we used in this case, but
I'm willing to say it was probably the state, probably not the county. Another thing, and this is just thoughts on it, not necessarily questions. So if we go above 50,000 on this build, that has to be bid out. That has to go through a bid process. That's the county's procurement policy. I want to make sure everybody's aware of that. So that might delay things just a little bit. I don't know anything about pharmacy. 50,000 in inventory is what I believe I heard said, and I think that's a very low number. If it's going to be 113 per prescription, you're not going to do that with 50,000 in inventory.
Well, if you looked at our monthly capture rates, we're only going to fill 50 prescriptions the first month and 100 prescriptions the next month. We're going to target the $50,000 to the most frequently used prescriptions. We have all the prescription data from the Carabel Clinic, so we can do an 80-20 rule where we cover 80% of the drugs, and a majority of those are generic drugs that cost $30 for a bottle of 500. So we're going to replace and grow that inventory as our prescription volume grows. Remember, we're not starting out with 24,000 prescriptions. We're going to start out with a much lower number and ramp that up over time. And as that grows, our inventory is going to get bigger and that value is going to get higher. But to get the Board of Pharmacy approval and to get started, we don't need thousands and thousands of bottles on the shelf. So
Okay.
we factored all that in for our estimate. But it's a growth we're trying to keep this lean from the beginning to make it work. We've done that, we have 4 of these going on right now, and I feel our numbers are pretty accurate.
Okay, that's good. I'm familiar with the inventory process. Just so you know, I'm good with us having 12 of one thing and 2 of another, if that's what that's what we're gonna see we're needing. I just thought that given the price of medicines, that was just a low number is all I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, can it, just, me and you, or
Yes.
the board,
Yes.
a lot of those prescriptions though, the more expensive, and I know this now, being
Yes.
fresh to the whole medication game,
Right.
but the expensive medications, none of these pharmacies even
They have to
inventory them. It's the next day,
Yeah,
you know. So just kind of keep that.
Okay, that helps.
Mr. Chairman, I've got a question.
All right, go ahead.
And I don't know who can answer this, whether Mr. David can or you can. Is it Jason? Talking about the Department of Pharmacy, you said 9 months. We talked about capital cost to get it built and to get the area ready to open. What is the criteria for the licensing fees? Is that I didn't see any kind of fees or anything, because I know that we have to have a license, but is that like what does that entail? Like, to be able to open this pharmacy, to get it turnkey where people can go in and start getting their prescriptions filled, what process does that look like with the Department of the Board of Pharmacy or whoever to get it open in that aspect, to be able to stock these drugs?
Well, I could present a whole nother presentation for an hour on the process. So the fees and some of the expenses are either factored into the capital costs we outlined already, or in some of the operating costs, because you're going to have expenses for software that are going to be a monthly charge. The process is that once the space is ready, and that normally we help people do the build out and then get prepared for the Board of Pharmacy inspection. Generally speaking, the Board of Pharmacy fees are less than a couple $100s for the application. I don't know exactly what it is in Florida because I haven't looked it up, but it's $150 in Indiana to apply for a Board of Pharmacy license. The DEA is $888, and you pay that every 2 years. So those fees have all been factored into the pro forma in the summary part of the operating expenses. But we will have to go to the board and get a formal application. We will have to apply, probably pay a couple $100s, and then the Board of Pharmacy will come out and inspect the space. The DEA will come and inspect the space. Those are all things we're comfortable with. We'll hold your hand the whole way through that. And eventually we'll hire the pharmacy manager that will kind of take over. And if you were to hire us to help you, we'll fade away at some point when you hire the right person to kind of take over and take on the responsibilities. But we have a whole playbook that we would hand to you, and we would back out 9 months and say, okay, we want to get open on December 1st or April 1st of 2027. And here are the steps we need to do in order to be prepared, which include the Board of Pharmacy inspection. It includes all of your licensure. It includes some of the applications that you have to fill out. So there are a couple $1,000s in application fees, but I didn't feel it was relevant to kind of lay those all out for you today. But we factored those all into the costs in the pro forma that you're looking at.
Okay, so in other words, we can't do anything to move forward until we have a space available. So we'd have to obviously get that ready before we could even think about stocking it with prescriptions.
Yeah, we need space, and then we need to design it. And Alyssa and I do this. We draw it out on paper for you to say this is what the space. This is the square footage of the space we have. This is the design of the space. Here are the amount of cabinets that we need. Here are the amount of countertop space. Here are how many computers you need. Again, our estimates are just ballparking from other clients we've worked with in the past in terms of how much all that's going to cost. But we know how much space we need. We know what the board. We'll figure out what the Board of Pharmacy requirements are. You're going to need hot and cold water and a sink in that space. So we'll help you kind of design it as you go. But without the building, without the infrastructure of the building, we can't do much.
Thank you.
I have another question, sir. the salaries and wages and benefits, I want to make sure what I'm looking at. It goes from 179 the first year to 307 the second year. Is that, I'm sorry, that's operating expense I'm looking at, never mind. It goes from 313 to 356. Is that just representing going from 2 FTEs to 3?
Yeah, it's the variable cost.
Okay.
We know that after every X amount of prescriptions, you need another technician. So we staggered the growth of the technician space because we don't need 2 technicians at the very beginning. People will just be standing around.
Right.
So yeah, that's a variable cost in our calculations, and over time, we add more people as the volume grows.
Okay, that's good. But why is then or you might have said this and I might have missed it. What is the calculation that's going into the operating expense going up $127,000 in 1 year? From 179 to 307.
Well, as you fill more prescriptions, you need to buy more stuff. So it's all, usually it's a percentage of the volume of prescriptions. So
Yes.
I don't, without looking at the whole 2 years on a month-by-month basis, the operating expenses get greater because you're spending the same percentage, but the volume is just higher. Because remember, you're going to fill 3 times as many prescriptions at the end of year 2 that you will at the end of year 1.
Okay. So
So
that
it should all calculate out to a pretty standard growth in both revenue and in expenses.
So that helps answer the inventory question. You have money there set aside to invest in inventory. That's good. It's not a problem.
And usually for inventory, you just replace, you're going to have some that you buy new drugs because people come in with new prescriptions. But most of the time, it's replacement of what you already have on the shelf. And so that all gets factored in. And once you get you don't want drugs to sit on your shelf because it's wasted money. So we have to make sure that we're managing it properly. But usually the prescriptions that are coming in are ones that you're filling and you have on the shelf, and then you buy a replacement, and it usually works out. The problem becomes when you don't turn over the inventory fast enough. Now you have things sitting on the shelf and they may expire. That's all in the management part of the pharmacy, and we want to make sure we hire the right person to manage that pharmacy. So you won't want the inventory you don't want the inventory to grow faster than your prescription count is growing.
Well, I understand that, yes, sir. Thank you for clarifying it, though. I only have 2 other things I want to, number one, Mr. Duffy had said something about having the money. Where are we getting the money from to fund this endeavor? I have an idea where we could get it from, but I want to know where, yeah.
This is David Walker. Initially,
Yeah,
we're
come from
pulling
our
the money
cash.
out of our operation funds, to pay for this.
So it's going to come out of Williams operational funds?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
I got another thought, and they might tell us no because they have a habit of doing that. But since we're creating jobs, why don't we submit this to Triumph?
Do what now? I didn't.
Since we're going to create jobs, why don't we make a submission to Triumph and let that Triumph dollars pay for all this?
At least the construction.
I don't know anything
Yes,
about
this
that.
construction part.
Question is, how long is that gonna take?
That's
then?
what I was saying.
Because Triumph, it's
Well,
like,
they're already talking about a year anyway.
We might be
They're already talking about a year anyway.
Ask for
because
reimbursement.
I know we talked about throwing
Yeah,
something
I'll
on the
be
wall and see if
retired
it's
by
stuck,
then.
but,
I
I mean,
don't know anything about that, I'm sorry.
If somebody else's money's better than my money.
Absolutely.
I
So
agree.
it's all good.
The reason we've had to wait till we could get the capital to do this from the operating funds, and so,
It's all good.
we got a choice, let it sit there and look good, or do something for the county. I mean,
Yeah,
that's-
the only reason I called you up, Mr. Duffy, is because you said something about having the money.
Yeah,
And I
well,
was
we
unsure
got the
about
money.
that.
I mean, we've had to wait till we feel comfortable
Yes,
and still have a cushion at the hospital
Yes.
too. So we feel like we've reached that and everything.
Yeah.
We're gonna track this real close. We got a committee that's gonna meet monthly from our board to keep it tracked. And so, a little inter-committee right there. So we're gonna track it real close. I agree on the construction cost. I don't think we're gonna do it. We'd probably go over there. That's just a fact, I mean, constructions went up. We're not exactly, we wanted to get approval to proceed with this before we did too much work with it, So I agree, the construction cost gonna probably costs more. I mean, it.
Let me just say something about the construction costs. The capital expense up until last month, we were planning on remodeling a room within the health department, not the health department, within the clinic there. And then we went over there last week and decided, Jason and John Berry and a crew said, hey, maybe we need to do this in the front of the building. And so now we know the construction costs will be more, it will cost more. But the initial construction cost, capital expense, that $100-some thousand, we were getting ready to renovate one of our procedure rooms and kind of like do the pharmacy in there. And then secondly, we have an architect that's willing to work with us pro bono on this project as well. John Berry will lead the point of contact for the board, hospital board on this particular project. So I just want to just throw all that out there. I didn't get a chance to say it earlier.
Thank you. I only have one other question, and it's piggybacking off what Commissioner Ward asked earlier. Just wanted to clarify. So when we open this pharmacy in Carabel and we move the 340B to that pharmacy, does that now mean that people that are seen at the Williams Emergency Room, if they're going to be part of that 340B program, need to go to Carabel to get their prescription?
No.
No, that's kind of.
No.
That's why
I think that goes back to what he was saying, that now certain medications, yes, you would have to.
Yes.
But, I mean, I'm assuming from what I've understood, listening to.
Well, I'd like clarification.
Miss, would you mind if
I don't
Miss
mind
Willis
at all.
come right on up
Clarification is what we're here for.
and give us her expert,
Willingness to speak.
yeah, she's jumping at the bits to get.
Well, I'm a
up there.
Carabel girl. I'm a
Please
Carabel
introduce
girl.
yourself.
And I'm Kristen Willis. I'm one of your hospital board members, and I am a Carabel girl. We've been very, very hard at work for the last year, and as Ms. Cheryl said, we've been kicking the can about this for many years. The prescriptions are individual, so no, we will not lose our patients that receive 340B and Apalachicola. As you said, it's individual prescriptions. There are a lot of special prescriptions that they don't stock on the shelves. As you said, they can get it the next day. This would also be utilized at our Carabel pharmacy. So if it's some kind of special prescription that we don't keep in-house, we can get that available to you the very next day. But what I want you to keep in mind, I'll take my 83-year-old grandmother. She can barely drive anymore. She has to come all the way to Byright, or I have to meet her in East Point to give her medications. I want you to think about the indigent people that ride bicycles, that walk, golf carts, that have no way to get back and forth. We've also discussed, and Jason, you can back me up on this, we've also discussed courier. We could also implement a courier service for those patients as well that would bounce off of the Weems pharmacy. But those patients are what I have in mind, is the indigent people. I'm just a big believer in you do something good, you get something good back. I think we've needed this for a very, very, very long time. He's given you the numbers. Of course, I lost revenue in my first year of business. That's just the way it goes. He's given you the numbers. I think the money's out there, but I think the need is greater. I really, really do. And I think that we don't need to talk about it, as Mr. Duffy said. We've put a lot of work into it, so let's make a decision so that we can get to work on it. But no, our patients in Appalach will not lose that 340B.
I think with, Mr. Chairman, if you would allow me, I think what Mr. Jones is trying to figure out is if somebody walks out of that hospital with a prescription for Ozempic, because that was the example. Yeah, they're driving to Carabel to get that.
Right.
Or they're going to pay $500 or whatever to get it filled at Byright. I'm quite sure somebody's going to make that 25-minute drive.
$20 worth of gas.
But I'm just saying, but I mean, versus $400 if you go to Byright.
That's right.
And that's what what we were getting at.
Right.
It's per prescription. The prescription companies are kind of controlling that on
Yes,
certain
they are.
medications. But I'm assuming, again, well, I hate to do that, but you know, the majority of generic prescriptions like, your blood pressure
Your blood pressures, your
medicine,
diuretics, your
stuff like that.
respiratory medications.
I don't see those pharmaceutical companies saying, hey, you got to go strictly to a 340B.
Correct.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, and I think that's the question
That's
you
what I
was
was
asking.
Yes.
But while I have the mic,
Yes.
you know, we're look, let's not pretend. I've always been the one that's been very cautious since I've come on. That's why I asked Mr. Brian Hall to stay. And if you don't mind, Mr. Brown, would you come up, please?
Thank you.
Call to the principal's
Okay,
office.
baby, thank you.
You're welcome.
He's like, uh-oh.
Now you need to nerd, huh?
Well,
He's like, what am I getting myself into now?
Yeah,
no,
that's right.
it's fine. Okay, we've had previous discussions over the last 3 years since I've been here, and you've been presenting to us. And you answered one of the questions, I think a couple commissioners asked you earlier. We've financially gotten better over the last 3 years, tremendously better, which is great. Now, we're taking EMS off of Weems's plate. So that's gonna free up basically what, about $700,000? Or no, way more than that, because we were supplementing that.
Yes.
You're talking $1 million something, correct?
Yeah, I think these are all ballpark numbers, but I think what we saw was about $1.5 million of cost in EMS.
And that was coming out of operations
Yeah,
to float
but you
that.
also give them money,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't give them any more, so the net will be positive. I don't know how much it would be positive to the hospital, but it'll be positive.
Well, I know in the past, we've had discussions about the new hospital, and I've always said I'm not, going to get a mortgage till I know I can pay the bills, stuff like that. With this situation here, I feel like this is a low to no risk venture for the county. I know we've done some other things, particularly when it comes to the hospital, where we took a leap of faith and had to reel it back in.
Same way here.
Sometimes wouldn't really, what this board didn't approve it, but we're not going to dig up things in the past, but I'm thinking with this right here, this is a very worthwhile thing, and we can afford it, because even at that loss, you got to look at the day-to-day business has gotten better out there. Even without thinking about what they were going to recoup from EMS, they still should be able to cover or whatever they initially is going or potentially going to lose that first year. But my other question is we got a capital outlay side there, and where's that balance at this day and time drawing interest? I hope it's at least over 3%.
I believe the current balance is roughly $11 million. Yeah.
So
But
we got,
that's-
I was thinking it was more than that.
I believe that's about where we are.
What kind of interest we getting
But
on
that's-
that? Where we,
Mr. Chairman, that's the money, the sales tax money though, too, right? That's how much we have in
I
the
can get
account.
back with you on that.
Yeah.
please.
Okay.
I got some ideas.
Because that was
But-
11
But no, what I was about to get at is we've got that money sitting there. As far as our capital, we could pay for it there off that capital act, like I said, as far as doing whatever, remodeling we got to do. We've got money to do that.
Mr. Chairman,
I'm just saying, the money's there. I think that this would be really worthwhile. Going back to the 340B, we've had discussion about REH and going here, going there. We've been discussing that for 3 years. We're still a critical access. Well, we obviously ain't going anywhere anytime soon. We had Miss Mary Mayhew come in and talk to us. They said eventually what a lot of predictions are, and again, prediction, but REH is going to possibly become a 240B, or the 240B program will go to the REH Evolve eventually. I think that's what, if I'm not mistaken, that's what I kind of took from Miss Mayhew way back when she came. Again, it's government. We're 2 years past that. It still ain't went anywhere, but it will eventually, I'm thinking, get there as critical access phases out. But we are a critical access hospital. We've got potentially a couple of partners that have flirted with us, but they hadn't took us on a date.
That's right.
I mean, we still sitting at the house. And we got to deal with what's in front of us. The hospital has gotten better over the last few years, which is great. I think we're in a position now that we can take a chance and move forward with something like this, because it would be a benefit to the community, especially on that end over there.
I can give you I think I can give you a couple of things to think about. So neither here nor there, but in terms of profitability, all this hangs on 340B, and they said that. 340B, very kind of hot potato politically right now, and the drug manufacturers despise 340B. So they are lobbying all day, every day to narrow it, get it taken away. But to their credit, Washington has been very strong in defending it. Irregardless, I guess what I would say from a county perspective is I have a lot of clients, hospitals your size and much larger that have retail pharmacies, they're generally not much of a profit center. So in terms of being profitable, I would think that's just gravy if you get there. But from a county perspective, I would kind of think about it, if I was in your chair, you know, is this a benefit we want to provide through our hospital fund to the community? And if so, what does the cost look like? I would focus more on the costs and the ongoing costs. You know, we're going to have the first year layout, whatever that is, but ongoing, what do those costs look like? If we're able to be profitable with it, great. If we're not, let's make sure we understand what we're signing up for. Because, and again, these are the first, I haven't seen these numbers before today, but if we get traction with this year 2 and then heaven forbid we're not making money, I don't think we're going to pull the rug out from under those people that are already there. We're going to keep doing it, most likely. So from a county perspective, I would try to understand what do the costs look like. Is that something we're willing to fund long term? And if so, if we're able to get to break even, great. If we're able to make a profit, that's awesome. But you know, what does the outlay really look like, and what are we signing up for? That'd be what I would be interested in.
Mr. Chair, I got a question. So I think we all, you know, discussed about we need some help on that side of the county. You know, we need this on that side of the county. I'm in agreement for it. It's going to take minimally 9 to 12 months, you know, to do. What do we need to do it as a board to get this ball rolling?
Mm-hmm.
That's my question.
That's what my question is going to be too. And I want to know, if this moves forward, when it moves forward, who's going to be responsible for pushing that ball down the road a little bit faster? Mr. David?
Well, the hospital is responsible for pushing the ball down the road because it comes on us, and the hospital board. Like I said, we have John Berry, you know, he's appointed as the hospital board liaison to help, you know, be the liaison between the hospital board, you know, regarding the pharmacy. But, you know, we'll push the board, we'll be pushing that ball down the road. And this is something also is that, you know, when you do something new, you know, there's a lot of different variables, but we just got to step out in the ward and do it. You know, it would create a big need. It reminded me of my days with the health department when we created the dental clinic on the campus and the dental clinic in Carabel. We never did that before, but once we stepped out in the water to do it because there was a great need, now you still have 2 dental clinics here in the county. And it'd be something similar with this retail pharmacy. I was talking to a lady last week in Carabel, and I told her, she was asking what we were doing there, looking at space. I told her what we were thinking about doing, and she just said, wow, that'd be so great. You know, she's an older lady, you know, squeezed my hand and said it'd be great to do. So, you know, we'll be responsible for kicking this down the road. I mean, to get it done, pushing it over, to lead this effort, the hospital.
Mr. David, I've been telling you that for years, honey, that everybody would be so grateful over there. And it makes me just so proud to know that we've got the support on the board to do this when we need something. It doesn't matter what side of the county it's on. It's Franklin County. And it's the people that has a need that need to be met. And I am just so grateful to my other 4 commissioners and staff and the hospital board. And you know, Mr. John Berry's not here this morning, but you know he's a driving force too. So,
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask Mr. Duffy, what will it take to move this forward? What do you need?
Whatever it needs. Our Alliant has done a lot of work on this, of course. And they're fully on board. They're going to do what this board and that board wants done. And they've done an excellent job with it. They've done an excellent job over the last 3 years, as a matter of fact. I mean, you can tell. And if we need to have special board meetings, we will. We're going to try to keep y'all informed the best we can without, you know, you'll get updates, Mr. Berry, and stuff. And so we're going to do all we can. We've been doing all we could. We just didn't have the money to do it.
Yeah.
And my understanding was that we couldn't get some of the money from other places because it wasn't within the rules or something like that. So we got the money now. And so we're ready to move. That's why we're here today.
Good.
That's it. Simple as that. And there's going to be hiccups along the way, I'm sure. Ain't no doubt about it. So we'll let y'all know when we have hiccups. I don't think no big mistakes. I have a lot of confidence in our pharmacy consultant. He's done them. He's been very successful with it. I read all about him. And And it takes a consultant like that. That's what they do, you know, so. I do agree, I think our construction costs are gonna go over a little bit, but I wanna do it right. If it costs a little more, let's do it right. Let's don't halfway do it. So that's, you
Mr.
asked what
Chairman,
the
did you already
board.
vote on this, the hospital board?
Yes, we have. Yeah, that's why we're here. Of course, they're all sitting right there. They're kinda
We
eager
have
to
to
go.
ask that from every volunteer board we have,
They're
sir.
eager to go, you know, and if we need, everybody, you know, we'll have some special meetings if we need to, and we'll keep y'all appraised all we can. Nothing, and, you know, I think the numbers bear out, and they're very solid numbers, and, you know, if 2 years from now we broke even, we're breaking even, I'm okay with that, but I do think we'll do better than that, you know, so anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Duffy.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Duffy, before you go, you said y'all were gonna form a committee?
Yeah, it's a committee, Mr. Berry.
Do y'all have that appointed already?
Mr. Berry is, what we'll do, Mr. Berry will be chair of the committee, and
Okay.
any board member that can meet will just meet.
Okay,
When
that's
he
fine.
wants to do it. That'll be the easiest way. We can't, you know,
I
I mean,
understand.
you know, if it's two people meeting, Mr. Berry wants to have a meeting, then him and somebody else will. If it's three can make it, I mean, it's hard to make all the stuff like that.
I
So,
understand. That's
but there
right.
is gonna be somebody bird dogging it all the way.
Okay.
That committee will be. And they'll report to the full board. That's the only thing they'll be able to meet on too, that, you know, is that.
Commissioner,
It'll be
okay.
publicized and all that stuff.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, were you about to say something else?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No.
I've got a couple questions. One is, Aaron, I don't want to put Aaron on the spot, but with what Chairman Jones was saying earlier, can we, I don't want to delay this by trying to ask Triumph, if potentially this moves forward, it sounds like it is. Can we ask for reimbursement from Triumph? There's no reimbursement?
We are not able to ask for reimbursement from Triumph. They would actually have to approve the project in advance. And one thing that kind of perked interest a little bit was when Mr. Walker had mentioned University of Florida wanting to do the internship training for pharmacy techs.
Department of Health.
Oh, Department of Health. Okay, yes. I mean, that's kind of the educational component. Triumph seems to look very favorably upon any sort of educational certifications and that type of thing. So I don't know. If they have the operational funds available now, I would probably proceed with that route because it does take multiple layers of.
We got the funds, let's do it.
And-
You know, I mean, there's no telling how long something like
And
that takes.
one more question, on the capital outlay, that's the sales tax proceeds?
Yes.
So can we use the sales tax proceeds for a pharmacy?
That has been something that's been disputed in the past because actually pharmaceutical type services weren't really mentioned in the original.
In the language, the ballot
Language.
language.
That's my concern. I mean, I'm all for it, but I
Yeah,
want to
but
make
that-
sure that we're doing
Yeah, but
stuff
on
the
that
right
ballot
way.
language, it says to establish an urgent care in Carabel, and we don't have an urgent care over there, we'll just turn into a clinic, which is fine. So, I mean, let's just call it what it is, I mean, we ain't done nothing by the
Well,
rule.
regardless, we got the
That's,
money,
you know,
right?
as far
So
as that.
even if we're not using capital outlay, we've got the money, right? So,
Yeah.
I'd like-
so, yeah.
if
I'd
they
like
What
to
I'm
ask-
saying, I mean, that can be in addition to the urgent care center that's over there. I mean, that's not something that it can be, I mean, it's under the same building. Why wouldn't it be? That's what built that building, is that healthcare tax, am I correct?
Did, yes,
Yeah.
it did.
Well, there's your
I
capital
just want to
outlay
make sure we
improvement.
weren't going to get in trouble from a legal
Mi-
perspective, but we got the money, so it's a moot point, right? So-
Mr. Chairman, can I just recognize something? We got into this hospital right after the audit. I just want to take this time, because I'm always trying to thank people for doing something, especially when you volunteer with it. And I want to thank the hospital board and David Boland with the help of Mr. David Walker for getting those numbers better at that hospital to allow us to be able to do this. And I thank you. And I know we've butted heads before, but, you know, it's a good thing when we
with
meet
you.
the needs of the people. And I just want to thank you for giving good numbers out and for doing the hard work. I think we have a good hospital board myself.
Commissioners, I'd rather go ahead and talk about getting that money. My opinion on the money
Yeah.
is sometimes you take it out of your left pocket and put it in your right pocket. And I hate to say we don't need it. Mr. Walker will go crazy with me saying this because he's on the money there. But
Thank
we need to proceed, and I'm ready to do it. We got the money, why not? Let's do it. I appreciate it, but, I mean, if it caused any problem, I don't see that. We'd like to proceed after we get through this meeting and start looking at the building and do what we need to do.
So y'all gonna move ahead now?
What
Yes,
do we
are.
need to, do we
Yes,
need to
we
make a
are. We
motion?
want to see what y'all
Y'all
said.
wanna make a motion?
Can I, before, so a couple of things. One, I did ask Aaron to reach out to Corey anyway at Triumph and see what a timetable would be, just so that we know, just for information for the board, for both boards and for everybody else. The only thing I see today that you need to do is commit to remaining critical access hospital. You have to do that
Gotta
today
do
if
that.
we're going to move forward. I'm not saying as a motion, you know,
Or just commit it?
I just need
Mr. Chairman.
maybe, so, you know, go ahead.
Well, I was trying, I didn't really, you know how squirrely I am, so I got kind of off my track with the critical access. But what I was getting at earlier, what was the point I was going to make, we've had discussions with two other folks.
Yeah.
And neither one of them seem to care whether or not we're an REH or critical access. So I don't even understand why that's even in the discussion. I mean,
Well, the reason I asked Commissioner is because some of the discussions we've had with them, they've asked, which directions are you guys planning to?
and they didn't really care
to go
which
with.
way that we went.
Well,
I think they just want a
the
definite
340B
answer
program, I think,
from
is what
us
it-
as to what we're doing, so that we can further our discussions along that
Well,
path,
let me put it
basically.
this way. Let's say in 2 years, we're talking to one of them again.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden they say, well, we want to partner up. Which way do you want to go? Well, we have a pharmacy. We're going to have to keep the 340B. I'm quite sure they'd be like, well,
Yes,
that's fine.
so I'm saying today.
Because we don't care whether you're an REH or
So,
critical access.
that's my point today, what I'm saying, if we're going with the pharmacy, know that we're committing to staying critical access, and then we will inform our suitors, you know,
Well,
that's
I'm
what we're
saying.
doing,
That'll just
basically.
be discussion
Yep.
down the road.
Yep.
So, I mean, we are what we are with critical access.
And we're staying that path, that's all. And it's just that if somebody looks at the past minutes, they're gonna say, well, you guys were up in the air, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, now I can say to any one of them, no, we've made a commitment, we're staying critical access because of our pharmacy, and that discussion is done.
Down the road, if REH does take on the 340B program or the
Yep.
two involved, then, you know, we might turn that
Yep.
way. We might go to REH. But
Commissioners,
but right now-
I'd like to add that our inpatient numbers have drastically increased in the last 4 or 5 months. We've put a big emphasis on it, we've done some other things. I can't say it'll stay there, you know, but our inpatient, we've seen a good increase in it by a lot of things been done. And that goes and comes a little bit because you have to deal with the bigger hospitals to get them to send you here, and they never keep the same people there, and it's a maze of things to get done, but we've got some people working hard on that every day. So our inpatient have increased, you know, from a lot of things been
And
done.
I'll say this, Commissioner Cruz said he's going to
Thank you.
speak. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Mr. Duffy, I'm so sorry. So the reason I said I don't think we need a motion, because we're critical access and we're staying that way. If we were going to change, I said, no, maybe a motion, but I don't see a motion needed. I'm with Commissioner Emerson. We stay how we are, and if down the road, something else, I'm
Why would
sorry.
not need a motion? Why do we not need a motion?
In my opinion, we could, if you guys want to make one, sure, but because we're critical access now, and we're not changing from being critical access.
Yeah, but we also have a hospital board that can't spend over a certain amount of money without our approval.
Uh-huh.
That's a lot more than $50,000 we're talking about.
No, I'm sorry,
He's
sorry.
talking about.
My motion was
the
strictly
status.
about our
REH.
designation.
Okay.
Are we gonna stay
I
critical
thought what you were
access?
saying, we're gonna have pharmacy care.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to go down that path, no, sir. My thing was strictly confirming, I just want to make everybody aware, everyone, that we are now committing to critical access, as Commissioner Amison has said, until we have a reason to think about it again, but we are remaining that so we can get this pharmacy. Again, that's
The
all
long
of
and
us.
short of that is, according to the consultant we hired, it really doesn't matter if we're REH or critical access, we can't afford to stay that forever. Their recommendation was to partner with someone else.
We have to be part of a bigger network. That's, has to be our long-term
So
goal,
that's
yes.
not a forever decision anyway.
I got it. I just kind of want to make, Commissioner Amos, I'm sorry, Commissioner Croom, I'm sorry, I kind of,
You all good, so we're committed to critical access. What else do we need to do to move forward on this? Okay.
Just say, hey, we're
So-
we're in agreement with the hospital board, let's move forward with this? Because we still have to get bids.
for now, I think as we
Advertise.
get, Chairman, unless you see a reason today that you would like a motion, I think just giving them your support and say, okay, proceed until we get to the point where, like Commissioner Waters saying, where money is then, that you guys have to approve certain things they do because of their cap on what they can spend. That's,
Well, I haven't heard a commissioner up here be against it today.
yeah.
I have no issue with that. I just thought that you were wanting a motion and vote so we could show that we were in alignment with what the hospital board presented.
Do a motion of support, if that's
Yes.
what you,
That's a good-
yeah, you
I make a
like.
motion that we support the recommendation that the hospital board has made us to have a pharmacy in Carabel at the Waynes Clinic East.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Sanders,
Second.
second by Commissioner Crew and Commissioner Ward. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to add, if we can, get this, let's stop kicking the can down the road for everything. Let's get off the pot with Weems too. We're moving forward with this, numbers looking better, let's really consider moving forward with that. But anyway, that's all I'm gonna say on that, so.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Go forth and
Let's take a
tell.
5-minute
Mr.
recess.
Chairman, before we do that, and we got the hospital here, let's talk about something else. We can't make a motion on it, obviously, but it's something we need to, I know right now we have a line on a month-to-month contract. We may want to revisit that, move them out to 6 months, because I've been, I know there's been some discussion about it, they're not, and forgive me, Alliant employees. But I wouldn't be real motivated to go out and find a whole bunch of new stuff if I don't know if I'm gonna be around next month. But I think if we can at least open that contract back out, because at the time when we dialed them back, we were kind of thinking TMH or, mainly TMH at the time was ready to,
Yes.
to get in that relationship with us, and here we find ourselves not. So I would recommend that possibly at the next meeting, if it has to be an agenda item or whatnot, we may want to consider giving direction and opening that back out. That way they can, at least have an incentive to go out and I'm not saying that you're not. I'm just saying it just
Okay.
kind of
So-
relaxed the reins a little bit. And
So, David and David? Okay, I'll put them in the next agenda.
All right. Let's recess Friday. Franklin County Board of County Commissioners now back in session. We're moving now to our next item on the agenda is a public hearing about the Florida Small Cities Grant Program application cycle. Ms. Herron?
Oh, yep. Yep. Now, Commissioners, at this time, I would like to introduce Ms. Heather Pullen with Langton Consulting, who can provide some additional program details regarding the proposed project. After we hear about the proposed project, the chairman will then call for public comment and input regarding the county's proposed project. Upon conclusion of the public hearing, the board will then decide if the project application should be submitted and authorize the submission of the application by resolution. So Heather, take it away.
Thanks, Erin. Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the board. Good to see you all again. I'm Heather Pullen, the assigned grant writer from Langton Consulting for the development and submission of a grant application to the Florida Department of Commerce for the fiscal year 2025 Florida Small Cities Community Development Block Grant CDBG program application cycle. I'm here today to provide some program updates and discuss the project that has been selected as the focus for this application cycle. After today's public hearing has concluded, we will be looking for authorization from the board to proceed with the continued development and submission of the grant application on or before May 5th, 2026. On April 8th of 2026, the Florida Department of Commerce conducted a webinar to inform potential applicants of recent changes to program requirements. For the fiscal year 2025 application cycle, applicants requesting funds from the non-economic development categories can apply for up to $3 million from the housing rehabilitation, neighborhood revitalization, and commercial revitalization categories. On April 10th, 2026, county staff made the decision to move forward with a water sewer project in partnership with the East Point Water and Sewer District that will benefit both existing low to moderate income households and provide the necessary sewer infrastructure for the development of new workforce housing for low to moderate income households. This project will include 3 phases. Phase 1 will include engineering and design for the initial 42 acres of new water and sewer lines along State Road 65 in East Point, Florida. The design of a new secondary lift station to support the increased sewer for new development of workforce housing. It also includes the design of a ground storage tank and the installation of new water and sewer lines, sewer hookups, and fire hydrants for increased fire protection. Phase 2 will include the construction of a 300,000 gallon storage tank, and Phase 3 will include the construction of a secondary lift station. So to go back to Phase 1, that's going to be, the first phase is going to be the largest phase. It's going to include all of the engineering and design plus the construction of the new water and sewer lines. The total estimated cost of this project is $1,769,250. That also includes a request for 5% program administration costs. This number is subject to change during the finalization of the grant application, but will remain under the $3 million maximum request amount. The board will be notified of significant changes to the proposed scope of work and budget during the next regularly scheduled board meeting on May 6, 2026. A draft of the grant application is available for review at the Franklin County Courthouse and will remain available until the public comment period ends on April 22nd, 2026. Instructions to provide written comments are included in the second public hearing notice that is available in today's board agenda and on the county's website, where it will remain until April 22nd, of this year. Thank you for your time today, and now we'll pass the meeting back to the chairman to conduct the public hearing.
Okay. Do have one question. This is also going to help because of where this area is located, make sure everybody's aware of it. This is also going to help when we start building the new EOC, there's going to be water and sewer available because our property is contiguous to this property.
Wonderful.
So it's going to do that. And it's also going to help put some legs to the Franklin 98 discussion, or the Team Franklin discussion we're having about workforce housing. So this is going to help provide for horizontal infrastructure to make something like a possibility. I just want to make sure everyone's aware of that. At this time, Commissioners, do you have any questions before we proceed to public comment?
No, the only thing I've got to say is I agree with this, and that's a good thing. And just to follow up on what we were saying during this part of the meeting, last meeting that we had, I went to speak to the city of Carabel about the water stuff that we were talking about during the CDBG stuff. And I was unable to. But what I would like to do is not for this year, but maybe maybe next year, maybe we can get some water out there to landmark, that we can at least have 1 or 2 fire hydrants out there or something. So this is something I want to continue on after the project in East Point. Then I'd like to see another part being done also through CDBG.
All right. If there are no other questions or thoughts from the commission, I will open it now for public comment. You don't have to have a card to speak. It is a public hearing. Is anyone in the public that wishes to speak about this potential grant application? Mr. Ron, anybody online?
Anybody online would like to address the board, speak about this item, please indicate by raising your hands on your smart device or your phone. No hands raised, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Back to us. Ms. Aaron, is there anything you need to add to what's been discussed here?
No, I don't have anything to add. Heather, do we need to actually, read into the minutes the resolution at some point?
The resolution of signature, yes.
Okay.
I think
Yes,
we do.
please, thank you.
So before we do that, what's the pleasure of the board? Do you want to? So can we do that? Can we get if the board wants to do this, get a motion first, then we can read the resolution into the minutes, into the discussion.
Mr. Chairman, if it's okay with you, I'd rather the resolution be read. That way we know kind of what we're voting on.
Okay, either way.
Okay.
All right, well, go ahead, Ms. Heather.
My apologies, I was not prepared to read the resolution. Aaron?
Yep, I have it.
Okay.
You said it. That's what confused me, I'm sorry.
Okay. This is a resolution of the County of Franklin County, Florida, authorizing the submission of an application for the Florida Small Cities Community Development Block Grant, CDBG program, authorizing the chief elected official to sign and the fiscal manager/grants coordinator to submit said application, authorizing the chairman of the BOCC to sign the grant agreement and providing an effective date. Whereas the County of Franklin is eligible to apply for funding from the Florida Small Cities Community Development Block Grant Program, and whereas the County of Franklin has identified a need for sanitary sewer improvements to benefit low to moderate income persons, and whereas the County of Franklin has held the required public hearings and followed the citizen participation plan, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Franklin County, Florida as follows. Section 1, that the Board of County Commissioners authorizes the submission of a fiscal year 2025 Florida Small City CDBG application in the amount of $1,769,250 to the Florida Department of Commerce. Section 2, that the Chairman of the Board of County Commissioners is hereby designated as the authorized signatory and is authorized to sign the CDBG application, and the fiscal manager/grants coordinator will submit the CDBG grant application and to provide any additional information as required by the state. Section 3, that in the event a grant is awarded, the Chairman of the Board of County Commissioners is authorized to execute the CDBG award agreement, grant contracts, and any other documents required to effectuate the project, including environmental review and record documentation. Section 4, that the fiscal manager/grants coordinator is authorized to sign documents related to the drawing of CDBG funds for drawdown requests. Section 5, that this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption, passed, approved, and adopted this 15th day of April 2026, once you all vote.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward. That motion's been seconded by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. That concludes the public hearing, correct? That concludes the public hearing.
Yeah, Heather, that's all we need today, isn't it? That we can conclude the public hearing at this point?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Heather.
Thank you.
All right.
You all have a wonderful day.
You too. Michael, let's go back to number 10, since Mr. Fuentes is on Zoom.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I'm sorry that I'm not physically present there, but I had a conflict of interest that couldn't be avoided. But I come before you and with a request. Our bill, House Bill 4081, has made it through the legislative process and was voted unanimously by, by both the House and the Senate. And it is pending on two referendums, one for the East Point expansion, one for St. George Island. Now, the bill has not made it to the governor's desk yet, but once it does, the governor has 15 days to approve the bill, veto it, or not sign it and let it pass into law. But our lobbyist had requested that, we send some documentation to the governor's office requesting, our issuing our support for the water district to do this expansion and express to him the need for it and that, it is contingent on those referendums. So I've come before you to ask for support again from the county commission to the governor to have this bill signed into law. And it's just an informal draft of a letter to him, but I just wanted to make that request. You guys have supported us this process so far, and this is just another step to assist the governor in making the decision.
Thank you, Billy. Commissioners, you have any questions? What's the pleasure of the board?
So moved to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Croom. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you can.
Is Ms. Joyce Estes chairman?
She still is the chair.
Is she still there?
Yes, she is.
Oh, my goodness.
She isn't. She's running things. I don't know if you know that or not.
And still running circles around all of us.
I know. I think the world of Ms. Estes.
Billy, I'll get that letter to you. I'll get Angela to work on it. Hopefully we can get it to you tomorrow, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
I really appreciate you all. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Same to you.
All right, Mr. Roll, we're up to you.
Okay, all right, commissioners, let me see, glasses off, glasses on. So, let's see here, we're on page 9. My first 3 action items, the first one is 2 airport all there are is time extensions for those 2 projects. And item 2 is a road closure for the Freedom Festival. Item 3 is a road closure for the Brewfest this weekend. It is this weekend, yeah.
All right, Commissioners, we're looking at doing all 3 of these on consent unless you want to pull one to talk about it.
We may want to pull number 2.
Freedom Festival?
Yeah, we're gonna shut it down from 9 in the morning till 10 at night.
That's what we did last year.
Yeah, I think what we did last year, that was their request, and we did an alternate route. It's just because of the traffic that starts from earlier, people walking across the street.
It's just have patent drive.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, that's all day.
Yep.
I thought it was just in the evening for some reason. Okay, that's fine.
Is
I just didn't know if that was
somebody help me, July 1st.
Clerical issue or
Is that July 1st is Saturday, or is it a weekend day?
It's a Saturday this week.
Yes, I think that's what it is, sir. It's a Saturday this time, not during the week, so that could be why they want to do it all day.
Okay,
Because they
that's
anticipate a lot of added foot traffic is what it is.
All right, that's perfectly fine. I just wanted some clarification on it, so.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the numbers 1, 2, and 3 on consent.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward,
Second.
Second by Commissioner Amison and Commissioner Kern. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
All right, Commissioners, item 4, Commissioner Amison and I, we met with Ms. Evans and Mr. Heffron of Barnacle to discuss the terms of agreement for renewal of the use of Barnacle parking devices on Alligator Point and on St. George Island. Attach a copy of that agreement for your review and approval. Barnacle agreed to 3 months of free service on Alligator Point. Yay. That's my negotiator for me there, down the bench from you guys. And a free drop box for St. George Island. All St. George Island will receive 6 Barnacle devices. Billing for both locations will commence on May 1st of 2026. Thank you, Commissioner Amison.
Yeah, thank you.
And Barnacle. Let me see if they're on
Man, you
there.
couldn't have got them for 6 barnacles too?
Really?
I'm honestly, they were more generous. I think they'll be a great company to work with. And I didn't do anything
Mr. Chairman,
special, I can tell you that.
I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut. If you don't mind, Ms. Evans is there. She just wants to address the board from Barnacle.
Fine.
And I should have sent her an invite. And Tanya, I'm so sorry. Good morning.
Hi there.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. I just wanted to say thank you, and if you have any questions, Colin is on as well.
Let's see, where's, there he is, okay.
Yep, we're both on. You might want to say something as well. I just wanted to say thank you for your continued business, and we're so excited to continue working with you.
Mr. Chairman, thank you guys for working with us as well to try to make it right. So customer service to me in my book goes a long way, and you guys definitely delivered. So thank you both.
So happy to continue working with you.
Yeah, and just to add to that, thank you everybody for again working with us. I'm really happy at, the place where we're at. We will continue to prioritize customer service, being on time, being available, and, trying to help the parking problems and compliance improve in Franklin County. So thank you everybody again.
All right. Do we need to have any discussion? I mean,
I just
so
got
we've
a
already got kind of got
question,
an agreement in place, right?
Mr. Chair. The merchant processing fee, what does that apply to? Do y'all know?
See again?
The merchant processing fee, the 4%, is that for the violator?
It's the credit card processing fee. It goes on to, and the motorist pays
Okay.
that. It goes directly onto the motorist.
The credit card.
Transaction, okay. And my last thing is sort of the board. It said at the top, is made and entered into this agreement of May 1st, 2026. Now, on the term, it says the renewal is 4/1/2027.
That's for next year. It'll auto renew
Right.
next year.
So are we sticking with the May?
Yes.
Or
So-
the April date?
So the old devices are renewing. You'll notice in the add-ons, we're adding those on as an 11-month term. You're getting a credit for $1,500 for the additional 6. So those are 11-month. They're being billed at 11 months, whereas the renewal devices were being for the 12 months.
Gotcha, okay.
But the terms are staying the same. We're just adding from your original contract. There's no change in your terms of your contract. So that, just to make things easier, it's
I
just.
got you, so we'll stay on track with that 4/1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you, that's all.
Any additional questions? What's the pleasure of the board?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Croom, second by Commissioner Ward. Any additional discussion?
I do have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
The drop box and the 6 barnacles for St. George Island, have we ordered those? Are they on their way, or what's the status on
Today,
those?
by signing today, you're
Okay,
ordered.
okay. All right, it's just in time for summer, all right.
Just in time for summer, yeah.
As soon as I get the contract back, we'll get them out the door.
Yep.
And
That's why we've kicked it to May 1, that would give them time between now and then.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve this contingent on attorney's review.
We already had a motion.
Do we already motion?
Yes, you
Okay.
said to amend
Never
your
mind, never
motion.
mind. Go ahead.
Okay.
Hey, two motions are better than one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any more discussion before we vote on the motion on the floor? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous.
That blonde moment. you know.
Hey, get me in trouble with that. Commissioner Kroom, you want to take over on item 5, since it's the organizational chart you've been working on for months? Just let everybody know you circulated as much as it could be
Yes,
circulated.
I mean, it may not look like a lot of work, but it was definitely a lot of work. Thanks to Mr. Morone and Angela for assisting with this. And this is what we got back from, the input from our departments. And I just think it's very important, for complete transparency so people see how our government operate. And I want to present this to the board for approval, and, if it get approved, Mike, I would like it, a tab on our website, so people can go click and see our government organization here.
So the only thing I'll ask, Commissioner, and I'm good with it, is this how we want it to be or how it is?
We need a little bit more information.
So I'm saying, is this chart to reflect how we currently have
How we
things
currently have it,
structured?
yes.
Okay, that's
Yes,
what,
sir.
okay, that's what I was wondering.
Okay.
Oh,
It's all good.
oh, as we change, if things change?
Yeah.
Yes, to me, it's like a living document, so we
Okay.
have to make
That'll
You
amendments.
have to make amendments to it, if it changes.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion as long as nobody else has questions.
I second the motion.
All right, so we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward. It's been seconded by Commissioner Sanders. Commissioner, go ahead with your question.
I don't have a question.
Oh, I thought you said you had a
No,
question.
no.
My bad. All right, any other discussion before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's a 5-0 vote.
None. Okay, I'm sorry.
You got one quick question. What all staff helped you with this?
I was going to say Angela did a lot of
Angela
work.
did a lot of
on this. Yeah, Bree did some in the beginning, but Angela took it and ran with it.
Wow.
She circulated to all the department heads, and she did an excellent job.
Well, thank you to all the staff that
Yeah.
assisted Commissioner Kroom on that.
You can do that after me. How about that? Let me finish, and you guys can do. I'm sorry. We have some checks, some manual checks that have to be approved. I'll do that at the end of my report. Cool? Well,
No, we only
I'll
spend
scan her to
it
do it
today.
So, oh, no manual checks today?
Spending freeze, just got.
Depends on who they go to. Who we're paying.
Okay. Ooh, we're having fun today for real. Okay. Item 6. So at our last meeting, I informed the board that Sheriff Smith was interested in transferring code enforcement from the Board of County Commissioners to this department. Since April 1st started the second half of our fiscal year, I suggest a trial run of code enforcement department, that transfer to the Sheriff's Department, to allow the opportunity for any issues that may arise before we discuss a more permanent arrangement at budget time. Since this is a trial run, the board will continue to cover all the department expenses as we're doing now, including new software, training, and we could continue to provide administrative support unless the sheriff prefers using his staff for administrative support. That might be his preference. Mrs. Smith, also known as Sissy, the code enforcement officer, supports the trial run transfer to the Sheriff's Department. And with the board's approval today, I will schedule a meeting with Commissioner Amison, who has taken the lead with code enforcement, Mrs. Smith, and the sheriff and his staff. Dwayne Coulter was out, he back there? Yes, to work out the details and the start date. So, just wanted to discuss it. If you have any more questions, and you guys to give me a thumbs up to move forward with this trial run of a transfer.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question, or, well, more or less a statement. I've always said that I don't want too many hands in the pot. So I know that this is going to be a learning curve, but as I said before, I don't want, once you get too many hands in the pot, one doesn't know what the other one's, and nothing against anybody. I'm just saying, one person thinks somebody else is doing something and they're not, and then the ball gets dropped. I just want to make sure that we stay consistent and that we have just a certain individual involved, and that we be able to have continuity with the complaints and the process through.
Yeah, I could almost bet with Sheriff Smith and his staff working with Mrs. Smith. I don't think any balls will be dropped.
And I'm not saying there is, I'm just saying, and again, not on anybody, but I know in the past where we've had issues where, okay, well, I thought this person was doing this, and no, they weren't. This person thought that person was doing it, and then it was like a big confusion. And I don't want, and I'm not saying it is, or it's gonna be. I just know when you get too many hands in a pot, things get dropped.
I actually think, Commissioner, this is a better structure, to be very honest with you. Rather than having the board and county staff trying to fill in, I think this is I mean, they're accustomed to enforcement. I think this makes it actually more direct, more efficient, and almost easy peasy, to be honest with you.
I agree.
My call.
I agree.
I feel like this takes the board out of that hot temperament that it's in sometimes. Because neighbors, some people just can't get along.
Yeah.
You know, and it put us in the middle of it. So, anyway.
Mr. Chairman, if you will, you know, we create an ordinance and it's enforced. The problem we have had is the enforcement side. With this in particular, you know, that there could be situations where law enforcement may need to be involved. So this to clean it up, I'm with Mr. Marone. I think this would be a better fit.
Yeah.
We can get some ordinances in place, and then that's the law of the land, so to speak, and then that's your enforcement's job to do that. So that, I'd make a motion that we move on with this.
Second. So we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Amison. It's been seconded by Commissioner Croom and Commissioner Ward. Any additional discussion? Yeah, I support this trial run effort. I think it's going to give us an opportunity to see. I believe it will work better, and I do support it. The only thing, Michael, I do want to, or Commissioner Amison, when y'all are having the discussion, I'm fine if the sheriff wants to use his administrative staff. But we have to make sure that in some sense, code enforcement's still going to be tied back to the building department in some way, shape, or form. Because those are the codes we're enforcing, correct? Building department is
actually, your billing official does building department enforcement, because that's state rules. I think this is more zoning, nuisance, and et cetera, stuff like that, yes.
Right.
Abating nuisance.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes. So.
All right, as long as it doesn't run afoul of anything we have.
No,
we're currently doing.
I would hope yeah, Commissioner, my hope is that it gets better.
Okay.
One thing before you move forward, here's what it does. It allows this board to do what really you should be doing is policy, making better ordinances, and it'll be based on the feedback that you get from the sheriff and Mrs. Smith as they do the enforcement side of it.
Well, Mr. Chairman, before we vote, I would like to make a comment with that, leaning on what you're saying. It's our job to create the policy. And by us trying to be the creator of that policy and enforcing that policy, you got, I mean, say for instance, our Ms. Smith, she's got to answer to 5. I can imagine she'd probably want to pull her hair out. Whenever something on this end, when it's an enforcement issue, it allows her to answer to 1.
Yep.
And I think that would be a lot cleaner.
Yes.
We can handle our job as far as creating the policies, and then it's their job to create or to enforce it, and she would have to answer to the sheriff, you know, versus having to call 5 commissioners over something, you know. It's just a cleaner way of running things, I think.
Yes, sir. Any other discussion before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's 5-0.
Commissioners, one more discussion. Actually, I'm kind of related. So I sent you guys a draft. I won't even read the, this is, you know, you may or may not know, there was a property brought to the magistrate. I think we're in our last days of them having to clean it up. So now we need to get a contractor on board, if I could say, that will clean up whatever the property owner or the heirs of the property owner did not clean up. This is an ad. I will thank the chairman because he took this one on and he saw I was a little overwhelmed, so he did the ad and he sent us an example of the ad, and I ran it by Mrs. Smith. She likes it. There's a couple tweaks I'd like to make and run it by the attorney, But I want to make sure you guys are good with the concept of what we're doing here. But understand, even though we pre-qualify contractors, if it's a really big job and it goes beyond our bid, I think we still have to follow our bid policy. I just want to make sure the board is aware of that. But it's kind of like the SHIP program, where you pre-qualify a contract, you send them the bid, and they send you back bids, or amounts, you know what I mean? You advertise it, send it to them. So same concept is what we want to do with contractors.
Right.
The more land contractors we have pre-qualified, the better it is for the county.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
I'm okay with that, and I'm the one that really wanted this, because I feel like we got to have that continuity again. We got these magistrate hearing rulings, and it's like we stop. The land needs to be cleared up, the heirs didn't do it, or whatever circumstance, and then it falls to us to do. But on that same note, we need to figure out, and I know we were talking about this, we need to figure out a way to pay for it. If we can use the funds from the fines that we receive, I know we're not in it to make money, but it'd be nice if we can use the fines that we've collected or collect in the future to be able to pay for this service, instead of it coming out of our professional services budget line item or whatever.
Hopefully that'll balance out one day, but I will lean on our wizard, she's not paying attention right now, it's okay, to basically do maybe a spreadsheet that we can keep updated,
Yes.
so you guys know how much we're bringing in versus what's going out. Yes.
With that, I guess we don't have a motion on that yet, do we?
We don't, but I do need
I'll
one.
make a motion to proceed with the advertisement.
So can we do it contingent upon an Attorney Through Act review?
It's contingent upon attorney review, yes.
Thank you for that, sir.
So we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward, and seconded by Commissioner Amison. We're going to have an Attorney Through Act look at this and make sure we're checking all the legal boxes, and then put out this request for qualifications. Any additional discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Commissioners, rest are informational items. One is the executive director's performance review. That's every year. That's part of the agreement. Item 9 is where I wanted to get to in case the chairman had any special comments, notes, something that happened at ARPC that we need to be aware of, that we need to pay attention to in the notes. And after that is just upcoming information meetings. One thing, so Kim in our office, Kim Raffield, so she has basically loaded, I wish I'd remember the oldest date, almost all the ordinances. Jessica might be able to help me. What's the oldest ordinance you gave her, Jessica, to upload to the system? Do you remember? But you don't? But she has loaded, basically working with Jessica, all the ordinances for the county on that link. If I need to share it to show you guys, I will, but you know where it is. You click on ordinances, and you do the click, and you click on ordinances in their original format or whatever, they're all there. Now, I know the question comes up about Municode. Bree, as soon as she has time, because she's overloaded herself, she has been talking to Municode about what do we need to do to have a better application with Municode to get more of our ordinances. The ones that are not on, maybe they can create a separate link also for that. But the ordinances in their original format that you can search, the headings, as far as I know, they're all up there.
That's good.
So if you're searching for something, I would recommend you go there first before you go to Municode. That's me. Kim has done a wonderful job with that, and with the assistance of Mrs. Gay in the clerk's office.
Thank y'all.
So,
good.
just want to let you know that. I'm sorry,
Good.
Commissioner, I didn't mean to blow by ARPC. I kind of
No, you're
asked you to
good.
do something, but I saw that note and I know I would forget, and that was very important.
Yeah.
That's something the board has been asking for a while.
No, there was nothing big discussed that has to do with Franklin County at the last meeting.
Okay.
No. We do need to take up the clerk's request, though.
Oh, yes. Erin, you want to?
Oh, yes.
Can you do that for me?
Yep. Let's see, there were actually 3 checks that were missed on the check run. It was City of Apalachicola for utility billings, which was $3,669.40.
Uh-oh.
There was also a reimbursement check for Charles Elliott for some travel expenditures for $789.90. And East Point Water and Sewer District for $2,504.07 for a total manual check run of $6,000. 96337, and that request is submitted on behalf of the Clerk's Finance Department.
All right. Since it was a late ad, and I forgot to do this a while ago, realizing it, I will call for public comment before we take action. There's no public comment in the room. Mr. Rowan, ask about online.
Anyone online would like to comment on the request to run those 3 manual checks, please indicate by raising your hand. If you're attending virtually, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did fail to do that earlier with Mr. Fuentes, and I didn't remember it till we had already voted. All right.
I'm sorry, no hands raised, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So pleasure of the board.
So move.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Ward. Second by Commissioner Amison. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That's a unanimous vote. Anything else from Mr. Morone today? All right. Attorney Theriak, we're up to you, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
For a few more minutes. The only item that I want to bring to your attention is we are going to schedule a public hearing at 11 o'clock on May 6th for Serenity Seaside regarding a small-scale map amendment, and I will be calling each of you later this week to address why we're doing that and why it's necessary.
Okay. But we need to do that by motion and vote, correct, to allow that?
I'm not sure what your process is. I would defer to Mr. Moroni.
Attorney Schuler, if I remember correctly, when it was outside of a regular meeting, he asked for motion. When it was part of the regular meeting, he just informed the board.
Okay,
That's how I thought we did it.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you, Mr. Moroni.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, anyone have anything for Attorney Theriak? Or any questions? I do have one thought I want to share with you, Attorney Theriak. And it's not a discussion for today, but hopefully it can be a discussion for an upcoming meeting. Because we went back and forth now with these bear-resistant trash cans and trying to get those for residents in the county. And I won't go into all the details because it would probably put us all to sleep. But we've not really made any headway. What I would like for you to look at and then come back and we can have a discussion about is it possible for this board to have a mandatory trash pickup discussion where we piggyback on the City of Appalachia's RFQ because they've already went through this process? So I'm looking for an answer today. I want to have a discussion going forward.
I will look into it, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, go ahead.
No, please.
I just wanted to, I know, and I was going to do this under Commissioner's comments, but I feel like it's more appropriate under the attorney's report. So I'm sure you guys remember back June, July of last year, we submitted to FAC.
Yes.
Attorney Schuler and I had spoke about the Burt-Harris Act provision, and we submitted a proposal to FAC, Florida Association of Counties, to change the language in the statute that's current with the state. And it went through the FAC process. It was approved. It went to the state, to the legislative level. It was approved unanimously by both boards. So it is a Florida law now with the Burt-Harris Law Act. So we can actually have the pre-meeting about potential legislation as like a shade meeting kind of deal. So it's law now. So that's the process that it took, and I want to thank my fellow board members and FAC staff and the 67 county other commissioners that voted and pushed it through FAC. So I just think it's a big accomplishment for us to change something from the legislative level just because of an idea or a thought.
Yep.
So that makes me want to do more. So thanks to everybody for that.
What's even better, Commissioner Ward, is when you do something like that, and 20 years from now, they're still reaping the benefits, and they said, who did this? And they go and look at it, and they see somebody from Franklin County proposed it. We ain't no dummies down here. We know how to do that. That's right.
Mr. Chairman, real quick, Mr. Theriak, we are on for tomorrow with staff, correct?
Yes. Yes, sir.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
And I'll be shooting you an email later today as a heads up before we meet tomorrow.
.com.
.com, yes, sir.
I'm working on that, y'all.
That
Kevin
was
and
a
Casey, they're
jab down the table there, Attorney.
Yeah, Kevin and Casey, they're working on that right now as we speak, actually. Working with 2K Web, Tidewall,
Tidewall.
Sterling.
Yeah. All right, anything else for Attorney Theriak?
I've got something, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Let me ask you something on your part. I know you probably spoke to our lobbyists in the last few days. What's, on that special sessions, what's going on that is gonna affect Franklin County? Do you
They
know
haven't really said
anything?
anything.
Are they even?
Taxes are gonna be affecting everybody. But I don't think they're anywhere close to having a consensus of where they're at in taxes.
To the property tax, I don't think so
It's
either.
lost momentum big time.
They-
They're even discussing it no more.
No, because it's, so, having good ideas isn't the problem. Having an idea you can implement is where it's really at. And if all you're doing is gonna find a way to switch money, but it's still gonna get collected, what have you really done?
Right, right.
You know, it's, so, I don't think that's going anywhere, but, you know, you never know.
Well, that's it from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna have to, get it from somewhere else.
But no, nothing major that I know of, Commissioner.
Commissioner Sanders?
Major. And I guess our fire trucks are still sitting in the
Everything's
same
still,
place.
yep.
And so.
Well, Commissioner Sanders, what I would recommend is, once this special session is over, completed, it's wrapped up, that we ask the lobbyists to appear and just give us a,
Yes, an update.
kind of an update, a roundup of, what's looking good for, what we need to look at next year, et cetera, stuff like that. That'd be a really good thing.
That would be a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. 33, thank you.
Thank you,
for
sir.
today. Any commissioner comments? We're commented out, I like it.
Look at y'all.
Meeting adjourned.